It's time for Eastmont Wildcat football on the NCW Life channel. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by The Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth, Collins Fashions, Town Nissan, and Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge. Now let's go live to Wildcat Stadium for all the action with Grant Olson and Eric Granstrom.
Hello and welcome everyone to another high school football broadcast here on the NCW Life channel. A rare Saturday edition of high school football today. We're at Wildcat Stadium at Eastmont High School as Eastmont takes on the WALLA Blue Devils. Joining me today, and I have to say, I'm thrilled to have him along, who I think is the best broadcaster in the business, Eric Granstrom. And Eric, we can breathe today a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to have the smoke cleared and some refreshing breezes out here, and I think both teams on the field are, well, this is the first time they've both been outside to do anything as far as football relation all week long, so they're glad to get out of the gyms and to get out here on Wildcat Stadium fields today.
And you know, I grew up in a small town in Montana, Eric, where all our games were Saturday because we had no lights. So
sure.
I get that feeling every Saturday, and it's a great feeling to have once again today. Does it kind of change the mindset in either team? You mentioned they haven't had much field time, but playing Saturday instead of Friday, does that really matter?
Well, I think it matters a little bit because you get one more day to game plan. Instead of just doing a walkthrough on a Thursday and then a practice Friday. Of course, they didn't decide this until Thursday that this was going to happen, that we're going to play the game today. But it does give you one more day to look at film as far as coaches are concerned. One more day to do a little game planning, to look at what you've got from last week with Walla's loss, Eastmont's loss. So they're both coming in. One of that's going to change here today. It gives you just a little edge, I think, if you're a coach. If you're a player, now you'd rather play on Friday night.
That's right. And both teams coming off kind of tough losses in their opening week, so this is important. It is kind of a tune-up until both teams get into league play, but this is a pretty big, I guess, tune-up game.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're Eastmont, you know, you look at that first half, and I know that Coach Don will work on those teaching moments, and there was a lot of good things that happened in that first half last week, and that loss at home here against Kamaikan, defending state champs. They go out last night and get a big win last night, Kamaikan does. So if I'm Coach Don, I tell the guys, look, we played these guys tough for a half and a little bit more than that. If it's not for a few mistakes, a couple of big special teams plays or gaffes on the special teams, we clean those things up. We got a chance to be pretty good. So here's a second chance to test it against Walla, a very good ball club.
And last week, Eric, they scored first against Kamaikan, and they just couldn't maintain that intensity throughout the game, and I'm sure that's something Coach Don talked with them about as well.
Well, yeah, and Coach Don likes to talk about the ebbs and flows and being able to maintain your emotional level and just be steady. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And I don't think there was a lot of that last week. I think it was just trying to rebound from those little mistakes that happened along the way against a very good Kamaikan team. They just couldn't come back from that.
All right, our pregame show will continue right here on the NCW Life channel, and we come back, we will visit with Eastmont head coach Mike Don right after this. And welcome back to Wildcat Stadium and our live broadcast of Eastmont Wildcat football today on NCW Life channel. We do want to thank Coach Mike Don, and that coach's interview is brought to you by TC Slingers, rock, bark, sand, and soil. We place the material for you. Joining me once again, Eric Granstrom, as two teams, the captains in the center of the field, Eric, to the coin toss, and looking forward to this one today. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup.
It's going to be a good one, and Walla's won the toss. They have elected to receive, which usually you see a team defer anymore when they win the coin toss, but Walla feeling confident that they want to take the ball first offensively. So, Grant, let's take a look at our starting lineup here, and the starting lineup brought to you by Arctic Refrigeration and Heating Incorporated for residential and commercial heating and air conditioning. Let's look at the Blue Devils offense here. As they start up front with the center, he is a 5'11 senior, Tristan Larkins. He's a big boy. They got a big offensive line. On the left side, the left guard is a 6'5 junior, Sinja Montoya, and the left tackle is 6'8 junior, Patrick Uchinsky. On the right side, up front, the guard is a 5'11 junior, Jerry Corona, and the tackle on that side, Isaac Melton. He's at 6'2. The wide receivers, Dalton Thompson, watch for him, Mason Knowles, Jared McElvey, and Zachary Bagley. Meanwhile, in the backfield, the running back is Darren Ongers, and the quarterback is Nick Zenner, a 5'11 senior. He's a two-way starter on defense and on offense. Meanwhile, Grant, let's take a look at the defense for the Eastmont Wildcats.
And the Eastmont defense shapes up like this. On defense is Christian Flores. He's a defensive end. As junior, Christian Tonga. He's one to watch. Defensive tackle, junior. Clayton Harris, a senior at nose tackle. A defensive end is Dalton Harper. He's a senior. Victor Victor Helton, one of the outside linebackers, a junior, Jaron Schneider, also an outside linebacker. Brent Womack, inside linebacker, rounding out the starters. Jace Grode, Devin Snyder, Jordan Jessup, and Wesley McElvey.
Well, here we go with the kickoff, and it's a deep end-over-end kick that comes down at the 7-yard line. And Grant, I just jumped right into your business.
You know, you're so used to that, Eric. I forgive you. It's kind of reverse roles here today.
I know.
Like I mentioned in the pregame show, you're to me one of the best there is in this business, and I'll do my best to make you proud today, Eric.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great. And thank you for joining us here on the NCW Live channel on a Saturday afternoon broadcast, Grant.
Should be fun. Nick Zenner is the quarterback, as Eric mentioned, a 5'11 senior, 175-pounder. I was watching him fling the ball around in the pregame warm-up, so we'll see what Zenner can do as he begins in shotgun. Claps his hands once. It's going to be a redraw as he gets up to about the 22-yard line. Gain of 2 on first down for Wahai.
Nice job by the linebackers there, both converging. Jaron Schneider and Brett Womack, those inside guys. You know, if the guys up front do their job and occupy a man or two, it's up to the linebackers to clean things up. And they did a good job there holding 2 yards on the first screen.
And Eric, once Eastmont gets on offense, we're going to talk a little bit more about Devin Snyder and what he's going to mean to this team today. I was just thinking about that a second ago. Here we go, 2nd down and 8 now for the Blue Devils. Their own 22-yard line. Fake handoff, and then it's a counter play. Big gain up the middle, and it's the big fullback on that carry, number 43. Don't have him here yet, Eric.
43 would be
Braden Thomas. Yeah, 6 foot, 170. He's only a sophomore. Big gain on 2nd down and first down for the Blue Devils.
Well, they got that big offensive line leaning up front on that counter play, and they got one block up front on Braden Johnson, and he was off to the races. Big gain on the play out to the 37.
Once again, Johnson in the backfield. Zenner, shotgun. 2 receivers split far side of the field. Near side, it's the tall receiver, McElvey, at 6'6". Flags come in before the play.
Yeah, no excuse for that. Right over the football was Brett Womack on the center, going to stunt, and a little hard count by the quarterback for the Blue Devils. Drew him off sides. He smacks the helmet to the center. That's an easy 5-yard penalty call by the officiating crew here, who's led by Dennis Brandstetter, our white hat here this afternoon.
And it makes it a lot easier for the Blue Devils now at 1st down and 5. Ball just across their own 40 at the 42. Just underway first quarter. 10:43 left to go first period. Once again, Zenner shotgun. Loaded up on that far side of the field. Ball in the middle of the field. Zenner shotgun looks right side. A floater along the Eastmont sideline, but well over the head of his big 6'6" target, Gerald McElvey. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
Pretty good coverage there by McElwain, Wesley McElwain. I was watching that game last night. Good job between you and Jay on the broadcast last week.
It was a lot of fun.
In town, and Eastmont had a great first half last week. And I know we talked to Coach Don before the ball game here. He hopes to carry that out into this week and continue it into more than just one half of football.
That's right. They scored first in that ball game, and we thought, boy, they're off to a great start, and then things just kind of deteriorated. But as you mentioned, played an awful tough team. 2nd down and 5, Blue Devils. Zenner's going to keep it this time. Jukes and jives, middle of field, cuts right, and he's brought down there nicely by the Wildcats, and that's Victor Welton.
Yeah, Welton did a good job. Christian Flores forced him to go outside on a nice counter block up front, but Eastmont able to sniff that one out, hold him to no gain. Big 3rd down coming up for the Wildcat defense.
3rd down and 5 still. Players in and out for the Walla Blue Devils. Long bus ride today. What do you figure, Eric? 4 to 5 hours on the bus.
Better part of on a bus, that's 5 hours plus.
Right.
I don't know if it looks like they brought the school buses instead of getting a charter, so that's definitely 5 hours.
You got it. Pass on 3rd down, too high for the intended receiver, and that is number 3, Mason Knowles, 5'8" senior.
Good job by Jace Grody over there, just making sure that if he does make that catch, he's not going to go anywhere. Good stand by the Eastmont defense after giving up a penalty and a big play. They settle down and going to get decent field position, you would think.
They really are. On to punt for the Blue Devils. Jared McElvey, the wide receiver, the tall 6'6" wide receiver, and back deep to receive for the Wildcats.
Devin Schneider back there. Low snap. He barely got that ball
Might
away.
have been partially tipped at the line. I'm not sure the way it came out there. It goes out at the 40. It's going to give Eastmont some absolute great field position. And a good place to start for their offense at their own 40-yard line.
So Eastmont will take it right there and give you a chance to take a look at the offensive side for the Eastmont Wildcats, Grant.
At tackle is Braden Johnson, one tackle. The other tackle is Brennan Cornell. Clayton Harris, a guard. Carson Payne, also at guard. David Valdivinos is the center, and we'll talk more about that in a second. 1st and 10, Wildcats fumble on the snap. It is picked up by Knighton, and I think the play was blown dead.
Yep.
Derek Graham's the tight end for the Wildcats. Devin Snyder at wide receiver. Cameron Scaramazino is out with a high ankle sprain, as you heard Coach Don in the pregame show. Ethan Simpson will get some more catches today. He's a wide receiver. Jack Knighton, the senior running back, or junior, I should say, and quarterback, also a junior, is Kalen Massey.
Well, that was fortunate for Eastmont as Walla Walla lined up in the neutral zone. So what could have been disastrous on that bot snap that went over to Knighton in the backfield turns out to be 5 yards for the offense, free 5 yards. Let's see what they do here on 1st and 5.
Massey shotgun, standing in his own 40. Handoff goes to Knighton, left side, cuts it back up the middle. Nice drive of the legs and almost first down. Yardage, just shy at about the 49-yard line. He'll be a yard short. We'll bring up 3rd down and a yard.
Knighton comes up limping on the play. It looks like his right leg is hit maybe as he reaches down, grabs a hold of it. So immediately Carson Talley, I think, who was the backup last week, will come in and have to spell on a 2nd down and 1 here. What do you think? Go to the air on a 2nd and short?
You know what? It's a great time to do it. It really is. Shotgun formation again for Massey. And that's a reverse, wide receiver reverse, and off to the races is Snyder. Is that Snyder?
Yep.
5, a touchdown to Devin Snyder, Wildcats, 51 yards.
Well, that's the way to start a game. They started it well last week with a couple of big plays against Kamaikan to score first. And on that reverse play on the handoff inside, it caught the Blue Devils looking in the backfield instead of tackling the body instead of the ball.
How about that?
And Devin Snyder takes it 51 yards for the touchdown.
On the kick is Manny Lopez for the Wildcats. And I talked about Devin Snyder, Eric. 1 catch, 26 yards. He's a wide receiver. He had a lot of touches running the ball, but I was going to mention they need to get him more involved in this offense, and there he takes it for 51.
Well, special teams was a challenge last week, and again, another bad snap here. Schneider has no chance to get anywhere with it. He just piles ahead. So, unfortunately, Eastmont's no good on the point after touchdown.
8:54 left to go, first quarter. It's Eastmont 6, Walla Walla nothing. We'll be back with more high school football from Wildcat Stadium on the NCW Life Channel in 30 seconds. 2 plays, 51 yards for the Eastmont Wildcats on a 51-yard Devin Snyder run. The PAT no good by Lopez on a bad snap, and that's where we stand right now with 8 minutes, 54 seconds left to go first quarter. Eastmont, just like last week, Eric, jump all over Kamaikan. They do it again this afternoon. The question is, can they maintain this intensity now for the rest of the ballgame? It's still a long way to go.
You're dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids out there, and Coach Michael Don's been a long-time coach, 3rd year here at Eastmont. He knows that the challenge is not to get too high and not to get too low. If you do have something that goes bad, that's the challenge right here with Walla Walla in town as they get ready to kick this ball away.
Dalton Thompson back deep for the Blue Devils, kicked by Manny Lopez, taken at the 11-yard line. Up to the 20, not quite the 25. Gang tackle then at the 23.
Pretty good coverage downfield by Eastmont, making sure they maintain their lanes. And looked like Lopez, the kicker, was able to make that tackle.
You don't see that every day, that's for sure.
Manny had a pretty good week last week against Kamaikan, both kicking off and punting. He had a couple of situations with a bad snap where he had a punt go off the side of his foot a couple of times, and that's something they really need to hone in on. Special teams, just for example, that point after touchdown. You get a chance to get points there, you got to get those points.
Absolutely right. You got it.
I mean, you may as well leave the offense on the field and go for 2 points if that's going to be your problem trying to handle a bad snap.
1st and 10, Blue Devils, ball at their own 24-yard line. 2 receivers split. Bottom of the screen, top of the screen, 1 receiver. It's going to be a quarterback draw again. And it's Zenner, left side, did get a block and then hit hard as he crosses the 30-yard line to about the 31. Nice hit.
Schneider over there, Devin Schneider. I mean, this guy, you just got to get him involved, both sides of the football, offensively, defensively. He is obviously the leader out there on the field by his actions and coming up with a big hit, but they gave up, 7-8 yards almost on first down.
Second down and 2, 8-yard gain on that carry by Zenner. Same formation, 2 split out right side, 1 short side of the field. Under center this time is Nick Zenner, the quarterback. Gives it to the up back, the fullback, just across the 31-yard line is Darren Ongers, 5'10", 175-pound senior, and a short gain.
Nice job by the defense up front on that counter play. Sometimes you just got to come up if you're a lineman. If you don't get hit right off the snap of the ball, you just got to sit and wait and hold your space, hold your position, and the ball's probably going to come your way.
Exactly right. Second down, or make that third down. Short gain, still about 2 yards to the first down yardage marker at about the 34-yard line. Clock moving here at Wildcat Stadium. 7:36 left to go first quarter. Wildcats on top, 6-0. Shotgun this time for Zenner. Handoff in the backfield and a great tackle and penetration. I think it's Tonga.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a big kid, Grant. I'm telling you what, Christian Tonga is 6 foot 260 as a sophomore. We saw last week that the cramps and the heat were really getting to him, but off to a great start here, forcing a 4th down on a punting situation for the Blue Devils.
Loss of about 3 on that. And on to punt for the Blue Devils, Jared McElvey, and back to receive for Eastmont.
Devin Schneider back there.
Devin Schneider.
Well, they had a low snap on their first punt, Grant. This one's a little high, but he gets it.
A little wobbly, too. A wobbly kick as well, taken by Snyder at his own 40-yard line. Has room down the sideline. 50 down to the 45 and brought down there in front of the Eastmont bench. Great field position once again for the Wildcats on their second possession.
Zachary Bagley coming up with the tackle for Walla Walla and basically saving the near sideline on a possible another 6 points on a long play for Snyder. And just like last week, Grant, you looked at that game against Kamaikan, Eastmont was dealing with fantastic field position through most of that first half. Here they have it on the Blue Devil 45.
And have to take advantage of it this week. Scored on the first possession last week and then didn't score the rest of the ball game. 1st and 10 in Blue Devil territory. Massey shotgun. Knighton back in there. The fake is to him, and it's not Massey. I guess it is Massey. Sorry about that. Nice run. Had a lot of those in the first half last week as well, Eric, against Kamaikan. And that's close to first down yardage on the first play of this drive.
That's a read option for him right up the middle. He does a good job of keeping his head up, staying tall, and seeing what the defense is giving him. What I would like, and I'm sure the coaches would like, as he gets into the second level, is to get down a little lower. He's awfully tall in there, and sometimes that can get your bell rung awfully easy by getting dumped back on your hind side.
Second and a short 1 for the Wildcats. At the Kamaikan, or I should say, Walla Walla 36 handoff. Flag comes down to Knighton as he crosses the 35. That would be a first down. We'll check the penalty marker. I feel like came in from the back judge too, didn't it, Eric?
Yeah, or the umpire back there. That's usually a holding call. Looks like Jerry Anderson is our umpire here today. I don't know if it was his. Yeah, it was his flag, and sure enough, a hold going to come. And, geez, that, you know, we talk about those little times, those little parts, and that's what happened last week against Kamaikan, too. A costly penalty here, a costly missed tackle on a special teams play, and it really takes Eastmont out of their game, and now they're going to face a second down and long.
And it reminds us once again, as you mentioned, Eric, we're dealing with 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. Yep. But staying disciplined is the name of the game, as that takes the ball all the way back to almost the original line of scrimmage. 44-yard line, Eric.
The good news is they had that big gain on first down by Massey, so it's 2nd and 9 instead of, well, what could have been a lot worse.
I'd like to see Massey maybe air it out here a little bit, too. It didn't do much of that last week, a few passes downfield. This time it's a fake handoff to Knighton again, and that option read option, I should say, up the middle, and a nice gain again for Massey of about 8.
Good job by Massey reading the defense. You see those white jerseys out there for Walla Walla. They're flushing out to the flat to cover that pitch option. Massey reads those bodies going that way, and nice to see those big white jerseys and a wash go one way. He can tuck it up and find green in the middle.
And this looks so much, Eric, like last week, the way that ball game started, that read option working well for Eastmont, and then not so well in the second half. But nice drive going here for the Wildcats. Pass over the middle, it's caught and then stripped. It looks like it's going to be ruled incomplete.
A nice attempt there on the throw by Massey, a little bit behind Davilar, and Davilar can't hang on to it, and a pretty good job by the defender to come up as well for Walla Walla, strip that ball. Now decision time for the Wildcats, Grant. Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down. We saw Kamaikan do that a lot last week in that game on Friday night here.
And they did it with worse field position than the 36-yard line, too.
Yeah.
So as Eric mentioned, Wildcats going for it here on 4th and a long yard, maybe even 2. Ball at the Walla Walla 37. Here's Massey, the pitch. Lopez, there he is, the kicker across the 30, keeps those legs moving. He gets all the way down to the 27-yard line.
Good job by Massey again. He got that defensive end on his side. The bite can come right into his chest, and he flipped that out with the left hand right to Lopez, and man, he just keeps those legs churning inside the 30 to the 28. A good gain for the Wildcats and another first down.
Brought down by Eric, when I say big, I'm not joking, Patrick Uchinsky, 6'8", 280-pound junior.
I think they call him the Eclipse.
It's the Eclipse. First and 10 Wildcats. Great position now at the Walla Walla 27. Handoff Knighton right side. Can't really break loose, in a nice pursuit from his linebacker position.
Braden Thomas came up there and sniffed that one out quickly, and Knighton, with all of his speed, could not get around the side here, and it looks like we've got a Wildcat that's down on the field, and it might be the ball carrier, Knighton. We saw him come out limping a little bit earlier and having a hard time with that right leg. I don't know if it's his hip or what it is, but an injury timeout on the field, and it's brought to you by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries.
Knighton is up on his feet once again, and Eric mentioned it. He was off earlier, now jogging off, so that's a good sign. I guess cramps could be an issue even today on an 80-degree day, couldn't it, Eric?
Yeah, I was talking with Coach Michael Don out there in the middle of the field as he was visiting with the Walla Walla coaching staff, and I asked him about injuries because watching that game last Friday, it looked like there was a lot of dinged-up Wildcats. He says, nope. He says, I just can't get these kids to eat right. They had cramps all night long.
More bananas, right, Eric?
He said they forced them to have lunch today.
Second down 11. Wildcat, short side of the field. Fake handoff and a pass left side, wide open receiver. Massey couldn't get it to him at about the 19-yard line.
It's a tough opportunity. He missed there. Davila was open, and as Massey turned to throw his way, he didn't. Now we got a flag down here too in the secondary, so we may have a penalty against the defense. We'll see what this penalty is. Could bail Eastmont out on an opportunity missed.
Davila in there today, only a sophomore, and replacing Cameron Scaramazino, who was out, as we mentioned earlier, with a high ankle sprain. So we'll probably see a lot of the sophomore today.
Well, there's been 2 penalties for 15 yards so far against Eastmont, and the head official here, Dennis Brandstetter, checking with the Walla Walla coaching staff what they want to choose here. It looked like an illegal man downfield, and that's the call here. And that's not how you might ask. How can you have a man downfield that quick when he just took one step and threw the ball? Well, what happens is that you have the wide receiver on the end not cover the man that's inside of him. So you've got 2 guys that are even with the line of scrimmage instead of 1 back. When he goes downfield, if they throw his way, that's an illegal man downfield.
Oh, it's so great working with an official. So great.
Handoff inside again. Look out. Here comes Schneider.
Look, he's got room 15. Still up at the 10. Nears the 5 and finally brought down at the Walla Walla 5-yard line. 22 yards on that run by Schneider.
That's not a bad
73 yards now, right, Eric?
Yeah, he's got 73 yards and a touchdown, and he's a little slow getting up, and it looks like there might be a cramp going on there as well as they reach down towards his right calf or left calf. I'm not sure here. But, yeah, more cramping going on. And sometimes, Grant, you can add all the water you want. You can add all the bananas you want when it's hot like this. And then also the unusual circumstance. So you get out here and you run around on the grass. You do 3 weeks of practice on the grass. You play a week of football on the grass. And then you're forced to go inside because of the smoke and play on the hardwoods inside.
Absolutely.
To me, that would cause the worst shin splints you can ever imagine, to go from that soft grass to go inside and bang around on the hardwoods for a week. And neither of these teams are able to get outside and practice outside this week because of the poor air quality, not just here in East Wenatchee, but also down in Walla Walla.
And I'll tell you, much better conditions around the Wenatchee Valley today. Still a shroud of haze hovering around, but still nothing like we've seen. We actually do have foothills around here, Eric, which we saw first time this morning, I think.
It was a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively, to walk outside today and be able to see some of the hills. We obviously do still have some smoke. This injury timeout, by the way, here on the NCW Life Channel, brought to you by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. And the good news is he's up to his feet and to the sideline. Didn't want to put a lot of pressure on that left leg. And for me, Grant, those cramps come in the middle of the night.
Oh, all the time. And it hurts for a week just to touch back there. First down and goal at the 6-yard line. Nice run up the middle. Did he get in? He's awfully close.
Lopez again.
Stopped it at about the 1, maybe the 2-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and goal for Eastmont.
Oh, nice job by Lopez just to get his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage and just power his way forward. Boy, the combination, Grant. You switch these guys between Lopez power and Knighton with the speed, and hopefully that Knighton's okay and can get back in there. That's a nice 1-2 combination.
And Lopez, Eric, at 5'8", 200, he's got a lot of power in those legs. Shotgun for Massey on 2nd down and goal. Handoff up the middle, not quite at the goal line again. This time carried by Massey, the quarterback keeper.
Isaac Melton, the defensive lineman, was able to hold his ground there and watch what was happening with the fake to the back out of the backfield as Lopez went right and Massey kept it inside. And you thought Massey, with his height, maybe could have stretched that ball out towards the end zone, but ball safety is what's key down here.
3rd and goal. Once again, keeper for Massey up the middle. Touchdown, Wildcats. 3 minutes and 1 second left first quarter. Wildcats now up 12-0. Point after try coming up with Manny Lopez.
4 carries and 19 yards with a touchdown for Massey here on the ground so far. And you think go for 2, not only because you missed your first extra point, and then you hate to start chasing points here if you're Coach Michael Don, but you know, with the problems they've had so far through 2 weeks of snapping the football on the extra points, go for 2.
Here we go, 4-2. It's Massey in shotgun. Lopez in the backfield with him. 2 receivers split out left. Over the middle, it's dropped right at the 1-yard line. Davillard, Eric, and that was 2 points right there.
Yep, had him again, but just threw it a little bit too high, so incomplete on the extra point attempt. So 12-zip, Eastmont off to a good start. At least they've doubled their point total from last week.
3 minutes and a second left here in the first quarter. Let's take a 30-second timeout, and we'll be back at Wildcat Stadium after this. Manny Lopez for the Wildcats kicking off after a 12-0 lead now for the Wildcats, taken by Dalton Thompson at the 10-yard line, cuts it out to the outside, 20-25, and he's hit by a couple of Wildcats just out of bounds, and that's where WALLA will begin. This their 3rd drive of the ball game from their own 27.
Well, it's been a case for Eastmont defensively of give up a big play on 1st or 2nd down on the first start of the series for WALLA, but not much after that. They've been able to hold pat so far, and Eastmont's been up to the challenge defensively. I did notice that between last week and this week, they cut the grass a little bit.
It was kind of long last week, wasn't it?
Horrible.
Jay and I had talked about that in a commercial break. Yeah, it was pretty long. All right, 1st and 10. WALLA at their own 27. Zenner, shotgun. Haven't seen a lot yet from the Blue Devils on offense. Bobbled snap. Zenner covers it at the 19-yard line. That was dangerous for WALLA.
So both teams having problems with the snap here in this ball game, both on special teams and just on offense. That goes down as a rushing loss for the quarterback as he drops back and covers the ball at the 20-yard line. Loss of 7-8 yards there.
Yeah, it was 8-yard loss on that play, so that'll bring up a long 2nd down play here for the Blue Devils. 2:27 on the clock left here in the first quarter. 12-0 Eastmont. Trips right side. 3 receivers on the short side of the field. Lone receiver top screen. Zenner shotgun. Claps his hands once. And it'll be a quarterback draw up the middle. He breaks a tackle at the 20, crosses the 25, and then brought down just at the 26, maybe the 27-yard line, back to the original line of scrimmage.
It was an opportunity defensively there for Eastmont. Coming up was Ruben Peck, and he was right there, had a shot at the quarterback, but just missed him. Pretty good juke step by Zenner there. Is able to get positive yardage out to the 28-yard line.
3rd down and 10, back to the original line of scrimmage. Clock still moving. Fairly quick first quarter. 1:40 left now. And if WALLA doesn't score here, Eric, that'll be 5 straight quarters with no points. They got beat 21-0 last week at Lewiston, Idaho.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Lewiston, probably a pretty good ball club. Oh, we got a flag.
Ooh, and a hit on the quarterback after the whistle. Took a good shot from Tonga.
And Tonga is a ton of a load coming right at you there. The flag came from the official on the far side over there, the head linesman, and he threw it at the snap, so you want to say possibly either procedure against the offense or the defense lined up in the neutral zone.
I didn't see anybody jump on offense either as a false start possibility.
Well, they could have lined up incorrectly, so procedure as far as the offensive set.
Right.
So it is a procedure call against the offense. So that's the third penalty for 15 yards against Walla Walla here in the bowl game.
Bring up 3rd down and 15 now for the Blue Devils. Just can't quite seem to get things going yet. Do you think that bus ride may have something to do with that, Eric?
I know you guys talked about that with Kamaikan last week, but they planned for that. They left at 9 o'clock this morning, so they've been here a long time today. They've had a long time to get off the bus, stretch out, go run around in those practice fields here. So I can't think that that's much of an impact.
3rd down, 15. Ball at the Walla Walla 23-yard line. Zenner's shotgun trips once again, far side of the field. Zenner looks that way, comes short side again. Instead has a wide open receiver, but overthrows him. And that was Zachary Bagley, another tall one at 6'3", goes incomplete.
Well, Zenner just lofting that ball way too high. I don't know if it's a matter of footwork that he's got going on incorrectly back there or what. He's got big eyeballs looking at his big receiver. Good job, meanwhile, defensively for Eastmont. They're certainly undersized here against these bigger receivers, but up to the challenge, and when the quarterback's throwing errantly like that, it makes your job a little easier.
And I thought they did a great job last week, too. Kamaikan's quarterback, fantastic, going to Washington State to pitch, so they played pretty well defensively. Low snap again on the punt. It's on the ground, and it's loose. Eastmont picks it up, I believe, at the 4-yard line. And that should be Wildcat football. The punter, McElvey, just could not get a handle on it. And a nice heads-up play by the Wildcats. I think Brett Womack, Eric, the guy that jumped on it.
Yeah, it was either Womack or Jaron Schneider back there that got on that football. They were both there. Nice job by the defense to realize what was going on. Sometimes you have a return set up, and you turn your head and start running downfield. You don't realize the ball's been rolling around on the ground there for a while. So a golden opportunity for Eastmont. 1st and goal from the 4.
And a chance to add more points to the scoreboard here in this first quarter. 1:01 left to go in the period. Massey in shotgun. He's going to keep it. Quarterback draw up the middle. Touchdown, Kalen Massey. 4-yard run, and just like that, 18-0 Eastmont. Eric, a bit of a surprise here early.
Couple of touchdowns on the run for Massey here so far. He read that option well last week against Kamaikan. It was just some unforced errors, both penalty-wise and on special teams, that really took Eastmont out of a shot in that game against the Braves last week, the defending state 3A champions. You look at Massey's performance, though, and he had to feel pretty good about that. So did the coaching staff for Eastmont, because he did well running the option. He's done it well so far in this first quarter.
Eastmont going for 2 once again. Massey had shotgun. Knighton back in there in the backfield. Pass into the end zone. It's tipped, and then off the fingertips once again of
Davalar, the intended receiver. Dalton Thompson stepped in front there, and unfortunately Davalar can't keep the concentration, so it falls incomplete. Another missed point after touchdown for Eastmont, but they're up 18-0.
57 seconds left in the quarter. We're back to Wildcat Stadium here on the NCW Life Channel in 30 seconds. 57 seconds left to go here first quarter. Grant Olson along with Eric Grantstrom, Wildcat Stadium. We've got live football for you today. Hope you're enjoying it on the NCW Life Channel. Eric, Eastmont has had the ball 3 times in this quarter, have scored all 3 times.
Yeah, almost 120 yards of offense all on the ground in this first quarter of play. So now for Eastmont, the job is to the defense pin their ears back, keep coming after Walla Walla. Don't get anything deep behind you, and keep the foot down. Don't let up, and just continue to play like you've had this quarter for all 4 quarters.
Absolutely. I think if you ask Coach Don if he'd like an 18-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, he'd say all day long. You've got to be very happy. As Manny Lopez set to kick off. Once again, deep, Dalton Thompson.
And Mason Knowles back there, going to come Knowles' way.
It is. At the 10-yard line. Cuts up middle of the field, now heads right side, lowers his head at the 24, down at the 25, maybe the 26.
You gotta love it. Manny Lopez in there again for the tackle, the man who kicks the ball off. One of the first ones down. You don't normally call your kicker a gunner, but boy, he's a gunner today for Eastmont.
This kid's a player. Does a little bit of everything out there. So Walla Walla begins now their 4th drive of this quarter. It's winding down, 52 seconds left. They have it at their own 26-yard line.
Nick Zenner, the quarterback for Walla Walla, he's had guys open here. He just has not hit them so far in this first quarter.
He's got this big 6'6" receiver, Eric, short side of the field, flags fly. Jared McElvey at 6'6", haven't seen much from him yet.
The defense offsides there, David Valdivinos. kind of jumped in the neutral zone, so they call 5 yards against the defense. That's the third penalty for 20 yards here so far. That's the only really bad thing that's happened for Eastmont.
Absolutely right. First down and 5 now. Makes it a little easier for the Blue Devils. Haven't, as we mentioned, done much on offense yet. Zenner shotgun, loaded backfield with him. A counterplay, ball's loose. Still loose and may have been picked up by the running back, and that's Darren Ongers.
Ongers, I think, got it back there, and just a missed connection between the quarterback and the running back. Looked like the quarterback Zenner was in perfect position to be handing that ball off, but Ongers didn't quite get the arms up high and give him that nice pocket to put that ball into, and so as a result, the ball squirts free, and Walla Walla very fortunate to maintain the possession.
Maintained possession and gained a yard out of that. Second down and 4 now. Ball at their own 32-yard line. 13 seconds left to go first quarter. Zenner shotgun. Misdirection. He's going to keep it right side. Dances around a bit to the 40-yard line. They will be enough for a first down. On a gain of about 7 over the right side for Zenner.
4 carries and 16 yards unofficially for Zenner so far in this ball game. That has been open, that little counter play, very similar to offense as what Eastmont runs.
Just with that
option by the quarterback, and he's able to find his way and pick his way forward for a first down, and I think that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter.
And it will at the end of 1 here on the NCW Life Channel. It's the Eastmont Wildcats 18, the Walla Walla Blue Devils 0. We'll be back with second quarter action in 60 seconds. Stay with us. Fake handoff, and it goes right side to the fullback. I believe that's Ongers. It is.
Yep.
5'10", 175-pound senior. Short gain of about, I'll give him 5 on that.
Darren Ongers, ball carrier for the Blue Devils.
Third carry for 5 yards for Ongers there. A little bit more of a pep in the step for the offensive line that time on that counter play for the Blue Devils. They've got such a big offensive line. I just can't imagine that they're not going to keep continuing just to try to pound the ball inside.
Zenner's shotgun. A little bit of movement there. Zenner's going to keep it. Good gain up close to the midfield, then a great tackle.
Victor Welton coming up and making the stop. That was fantastic. He took on a blocker, shed the blocker, was able to get up and make that tackle. Welton made a couple of big plays last week against Kamaikan too. This 5'10", 165-pound junior playing a lot larger than his body size, wearing number 2 for Eastmont.
And that had first down, Eric, written all over it. Instead, third down and short now. Call it 3rd and 1. Ball just shy of midfield at the Walla Walla 49-yard line. Just underway second quarter. Eastmont on top 18-0. This time Zenner under center. Onger behind him. The handoff goes to Onger. Hit hard right at the 49.
Didn't get
there.
Beautiful job defensively by Brent Womack, the 5'10", 180-pound senior. Sniffed it out, shot the gap, wrapped him up, got a little help, took him down to the 50 after a gain of 1.
Decision time now, Eric, for head coach Eric Hysaw. Or is it Hesaw? I think it's Hysaw.
Hysaw.
Right.
I think you got to go for it here. You're trailing 3 touchdowns or 3 scores in this ball game, so you got to go for it. Ball at midfield. You're not going to give up too much here as field position is concerned. You got to tell your boys up front, hey, big fellas, let's make a block.
Absolutely. They've got the beef up front. Zenner in shotgun on this 4th down and less than a yard. Goes right, hit before the line. But I think that second effort got it for him. Welton again, a great stop.
Victor Welton again came up, laid a hit. But that quarterback, he's got some size to him. He's 5'11", 175 pounds. Zenner, the senior, is able to lean forward after the initial contact and make it up for the first down. Just a gain of 1, but that's all they needed.
That was almost close enough to measure right there. But now Walla Walla, for the first time, I believe, in Eastmont territory, the first time in a long, long time at the Eastmont 49. 2 receivers come near side, one to the far side of the field. Zenner shotgun. Onger in the backfield with him. The handoff, though, doesn't go to Onger. Nice run up to about the 45-yard line.
That was a new ball carrier in there for Walla Walla that time. Josiah Wick, 5'6", 150 pounds, just a sophomore, able to gain 3 yards on first down on that counter play coming from right back left.
Reminds me a lot of that running back, the sophomore for Kamaikan last week, who was fantastic. I don't recall his name now, but kid's going to be a star for Kamaikan in the future. Second down, 8 now, Walla Walla at their own 46-yard line. Clock moving, approaching 9 minutes left to go.
Folks at home need to realize we study for 1 week, one test, and then we flush it and we're on to the next one.
Center the pass behind the receiver. Mason Knowles the intended target, but behind him.
That ball looked like it may have been deflected at the line of scrimmage. Kind of came out awkwardly. Either Zenner didn't get a good grip on it on the throw. He's an athletic-looking kid. He's got a good body size. And right now, I think it's technique that's costing him opportunities here. But that ball may have been touched at the line of scrimmage by Eastmont. So big third down for the defense for the Wildcats to stiffen up here.
And Zender was whipping that ball around the field, Eric, in pregame. And now he's looking a little tentative, as you mentioned. Here we go, third down, 7. Center once again shotgun, standing right at midfield at the center of the field. Handoff Wick. Over the left side, he's got room. 45. Flag comes in, maybe a hold. As Wick goes down at the Eastmont 43.
Yep, I think they're going to get the big fella, Sinjin Montoya, for a penalty here. 6'5", 305-pounder, had his arms wrapped around and was holding on to David Valdivinos, and this one's coming back.
Boy, you mentioned it. Gigantic offensive line is 280, 305, 295, 260.
Well, they're coming from wheat country down there, Grant. So Walla Walla, they feed those boys good.
I know all about wheat country, Eric.
Yes, you do, Montana boy. 4 penalties, 25 yards now for Walla Walla in the ball game. And you kind of, you expect as a coach, you come in, because you don't have a chance to play a preseason like the pros. There's going to be penalties. You're going to get caught doing some things. I know that the teams have jamborees where they bring officials in from the Blue Mountain Officials Association. They'll come in, they'll officiate the games, but it's not until live action that you really get a good look at what your boys should be doing and shouldn't be doing.
3rd and 15, ball at the Walla Walla 45-yard line. Zenner claps his hands again, gets the play going. Shotgun, scrambles right side, has an open field over there. Nice block as well. Midfield, Zenner across the 45, leaps to about the 42. We'll see where he's marked. It looks like it will be right at the 45. So still a nice gain, not as nice as it could have been. 10 yards on the play.
I didn't see which wide receiver it was over there. I believe it was Dalton Thompson downfield on the other side. He got a good shield block there of Victor Welton. Welton's made so many plays here, and he just shielded him and was able to get the outside, get the sideline, and get a big gain to the Eastmont 45-yard line. Make this 4th down. They're going to go for it. Manageable for the Blue Devils.
4th and 6. McElvey, the only receiver on the short side of the field. Zenner once again shotgun with Wick in the backfield and Ungers with him.
Only 4 seconds on the play clock.
Mason Knowles in the slot. It's Wick, and it's a reverse. Ball's on the turf, picked back up by Wick, and he's not going to even get to midfield. He is hammered at the Walla Walla 49-yard line.
I'll tell you, it was set up initially well on that reverse for the Blue Devils. If that fumble doesn't happen, they get around the outside. He may still be running towards the end zone right now, but a good job of converging by the defense, led by Devin Schneider again as they make the stop. A loss of about 6 yards on the play, and Eastmont football.
10-play drive, too, Eric, for the Blue Devils that time. By far their best of the ball game. It stalls out once again. And that'll bring on the punter, Gerald McElvey, who does all
is it a punt? Because they had 4th down on the far sideline.
That's right. It should be Eastmont football.
But Walla Walla's lining up like they're going to punt. Let's see. They have the offense out there?
1st and 10. Oh, yeah. It's Eastmont ball. Okay. Here comes Massey now.
Massey was late to get on the field, so I was like, what in the world is happening here? So it is a 1st down for Eastmont.
Ball right at midfield, and we've got a timeout. A little bit of confusion on Eastmont there. Coach Down wants to talk it over. 8:29 left to go, 2nd quarter. Eastmont 18 and Walla Walla nothing. We're back field in 30 seconds. Stay with us. Do want to pass along, this is just one of 2 live events on the NCW Live channel. Stay with us after the football game tonight at 7 o'clock.
No.
We don't have soccer tonight.
No, we scheduled soccer tonight. We will have soccer on the broadcast tonight. It just won't be a live game. Gotcha. It's the game from last weekend.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I was all excited. 2 live broadcasts in a row.
My fault. I put it down here that we had this live. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll have Central Valley and Wenatchee from last Saturday tonight coming up at 7 o'clock here on the NCW Live channel.
Big drive here, really, Eric, for Eastmont. They're up 18-0, but boy, they could really put the hurt on Walla Walla before halftime with another score here. Massey rolls to the right side, a wobbler downfield, trouble. It isn't caught. No, it's not. Flags come down too. Intended receiver at the 20-yard line, and that was Ethan Simpson, 6'4", 160-pound senior.
I saw a little contact, but it was negligible. I'm surprised that flag came out, and I think they're going to get the defense on a hold here.
They really are. Wow. Simpson, he's a big target, Eric. 6'4" kid out there, number 5.
He is a big target, and you saw the pump fake by Massey, but the throw wobbly. It looked like it kind of got off of his hand a little bit. And Eastmont fortunate to get the penalty flag there, because right there defensively, Keldon Swant could have intercepted that football.
And Eric, I was talking to Eastmont Wildcat pitching coach Eric Kuntz the other day, and he was talking about Massey, what a great pitcher he is. So his kid's got an arm. I'd really like to see him kind of air it out a little bit more.
A couple of times here I've just seen the footwork not be where he wants to be. I was talking about that a little bit ago. I didn't get to the rest of my point. But when he threw out in the flat, he stepped sideways instead of stepping towards the receiver. You got to point your forward arm towards the receiver, point your left foot towards the receiver for a right-handed quarterback, and follow through just like you're throwing a pitch to home plate.
Absolutely.
So the penalty against Walla Walla, that's 5 now for 35 yards in the game.
Eastmont 1st and 10, reverse again. Here's Snyder up the middle, jukes and jives across the 35, down to about the 33-yard line. And a nice gain on first down of about 6 yards for the Wildcats.
That's his shortest run of the game so far. And he was under 10 yards on that one. Uh-oh, better pull him out.
I love that counter play to that receiver, that kind of a reverse, isn't it?
You know, he had a blocker in front of him in the backfield. It was Ruben Peck that was out there blocking in front of him. If he could have cut to the right a little bit, maybe have had more yards.
Massey on the snap, kind of bobbled. Massey's kind of forced to keep it this time. I think he wanted to throw it downfield, may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe even picked up a yard.
They got a yard there, and it's a good thing he didn't throw that ball downfield, because he had 4 linemen that were 15 yards downfield, so the flag would have flown freely by the officials here.
Big 3rd down and 3 now coming up at the Walla Walla 33-yard line. I think bigger for the Walla Walla defense at this point than it is for Eastmont.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue Devils have really struggled offensively here, need to make a stop and not let any more points score by Eastmont.
Massey once again in shotgun. Talley in the backfield with him this time. The handoff, no, it doesn't go to Talley. Massey's going to keep it. Tries to go left, and a nice tackle. First down, though, for the Wildcats at the Walla Walla 27-yard line, and a nice run by Talley.
5 yards on that running play. And again, you just want him to see us put his shoulder down a little bit as he gets into that second level. Good job by the offensive line. We should mention those big boys up front, too, here for Eastmont, as they're getting a shoulder-on-shoulder. Cornell, Harris, Johnson, Ortega, Valdivinos, all getting a good lean on that Walla Walla defense to get positive yardage.
And a much bigger Walla Walla defensive line as well. Talley only a sophomore too, Eric. I think he'll learn maybe to lower that shoulder a little more as he goes along. Another keeper by Massey up the middle this time, and a short gain. About 4, maybe even 5 yards for Massey, maybe more than that, Eric, as he keeps going.
Yeah, give him 6 on that gain. And again, he starts with the shoulders down and a nice lean forward, and you like to see your quarterback do that. Anybody that carries the ball, have that forward lean, so as you go down, you're going to get maybe another yard or a half a yard anyway.
Always falling forward anyway.
Absolutely.
So
8 carries and 46 yards for Massey so far in the ball game.
Nice first half. 2nd out and 4. Walla Walla at the Walla Walla 22-yard line. Massey shotgun, Talley in the backfield with him. Quick hitter, slant over the middle, inside. Davilar inside the 15. That'll be a first down. Marked down at the 12, maybe 13-yard line.
The gain of 10 yards on that pass play. First connection of the ball game. So Massey now 1 of 4 for 10 yards. And the first completion between he and Davilar. Good to make that connection, and he got the ball down this time.
Just like the size of these Eastmont receivers, 6'3" Davilar and 6'4" Simpson. Now that Scaramazino is injured and not playing in this ball game. Nice targets for Massey.
Well, we talked about the importance. There is a flag down on the play in the backfield here, so we'll see what the officials have to say. The sticks haven't moved on the far side to make sure that it's not a penalty against the offense. It was thrown by the back judge here, so that typically is some sort of a foul against the defense. But we'll see about this as the officials gather over there at the 10-yard line.
Kind of a scrum, too, at the end of that play, Eric, and a lot of things can happen at the end of a play like that. Maybe a late face mask, something like that. We'll have to wait and see. 5:51 left, second quarter.
Our official comes over, says, well, whatever the penalty is, it's waved off.
At least we know that much. So it's like the play's going to stand.
I think what the penalty flag was is for a defensive hold on the pass play, but Eastmont's taking the result of the play, and so that's kind of the signal that we're given there by Mr. Brandstetter.
That'll give Eastmont the ball at the Walla Walla 12-yard line, first down and 10.
Oh, Wildcat first half has been just phenomenal. You couldn't draw it up any better if you're Coach Don and the coaching staff here for Eastmont.
And Massey shotgun once again, looks to the sideline. Tally stays in the backfield. Split out right side is Ethan Simpson, his 6'4" target. Once again, there's that inside reverse. Not taken by Snyder this time, and a short gain across the 10 down to about the 8-yard line.
Well, that's Cole Warren that got the handoff that time. He was lined up outside. You have both your quarterbacks in there, which makes you a little bit nervous because if Cole Warren gets injured, then who do you have as a backup?
Right.
But, hey, everybody's getting into the act here, and another positive gain for Eastmont.
Gain of 5. Make it 2nd and 5, maybe 6 yards. As we approach 5 minutes now left to go in this second quarter. 18-0. Eastmont trying to get more here before the halftime break. Whistles again.
Timeout to Eastmont.
We'll take one as well. 5 minutes, 1 second left to go. Second quarter. It's the Wildcats 18, the Blue Devils nothing. We're back in the NCW Life channel after this. Eastmont, 6 plays on this drive that began back at midfield at the 50-yard line. Now at the Walla Walla 8-yard line. Second down and 6 for the Wildcats. Trying to add more points here. 18-0 our score here in the second quarter. Missed PATs, and Eastmont, Eric, has missed 3 of those. They've scored on all 3 possessions. This is their 4th possession. May score on this one as well.
Can't ask for more than 100% on your possession so far in the ball game. Hey, by the way, our broadcast today brought to you by Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Take a walk on the wild side. Also by Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee. Real clothes for real women. And Town Nissan, your local East Wenatchee Nissan dealer where honesty and transparency come first. Also by Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge, your Town Chrysler family store where people get nice surprises.
Stop in and see my buddies at Town Nissan, right, Eric?
You betcha.
We love Brent.
Love them.
Second down and 6, Wildcats. Handoff, it's right side. Tally gets stood up, and a nice tackle by the Blue Devils linebacker, and it's number 43, Braden Thomas. He's had a few of those, Eric, only a sophomore.
Yeah, it looked like Ongers maybe got in there, too, for Walla Walla. And, well, Coach Don, you got to give him credit. Trying to get everybody a chance here to take part in this offensive drive. 4th drive of the ball game, as you mentioned, Grant and Carson Tally, the 5'9", 151-pound sophomore. Got a little welcoming to varsity football there.
Sure did. We got a lot of youngsters in the ball game right now.
Yep.
Massey shotgun on this 3rd down and 5. Ball at the 7. Massey's going to put it up. A floater. Corner of the end zone. Open, but too far for the outstretched arms of Ethan Simpson.
Simpson was open back there, but again, eyes got a little big there for the quarterback for Eastmont, Caleb Massey, and his 6'2", 170 pounds looked more like Wilt Chamberlain at 7'1" there as he whipped it a little bit too tall.
He might not even kept his feet in on that one. Now what do you do? 4th down and 5. Looks like the Wildcats going for it.
Yeah.
Haven't had a lot of luck on special teams, so why not? Already an 18-0 lead. Massey and shotgun. Tally in the backfield. Davalar and Simpson right side. And Massey's going to keep it up the middle inside the 5. I don't think he'll get a first down as he's down right at the 5-yard line, about 2 yards short.
Got 3 yards on that carry down to the 5, but that's about it. Walla Walla doing a good job defensively and a moral victory, if nothing else, for the Blue Devil defense.
Boy, and they really needed it at this point in the ball game. They will take over now, first down and 10 at their own 5-yard line. And Walla Walla, Eric, has not had the greatest field position. Drives that have started at the 20, their own 20, their own 24, their own 26, their own 27, and now their own 5.
Yeah, and that's what Eastmont had last week, really, if you look at that game against Kamaikan. The field position battle was certainly won by the Wildcats. It just wasn't won on the scoreboard as they allowed a touchdown just seconds before the end of the half.
Absolutely. Shotgun for Nick Zetter now, and the Blue Devils' 5th possession of this first half. Hard-nosed football, just straight up the middle that time.
Augers with the carry. Number 34 for Walla Walla.
Picks up about 4. Brings second down and 6 up for the Blue Devils. Under 4 minutes now left, second quarter, 3:50 on the clock. And Walla Walla needs to get some points on the board. They haven't scored in over 5 quarters now, or shut out last week.
New quarterback in there, Keldon Swant, now calling the signals here for Walla Walla.
Swant in shotgun. Handoff Ongers again, just right up the middle across the 10 to about the 12, maybe a 2-yard gain.
Beautiful job by Clayton Harris in his defensive tackle position. Just got across the line of scrimmage, sat down, and clamped on to the running back and kept him to a short gain on the play.
So 3rd down and 4 for the Blue Devils. Ball at their own 11-yard line. Players in and out for Walla Walla. Once again, new quarterback, as Eric mentioned, Keldon Swant, 5'10", 150-pound sophomore. Guess they figured they needed to change the quarterback. Zenner was kind of flat that first half, Eric.
He was.
Here's Swant back to pass. He's going to keep it instead. Nice runnings. He makes a great move at about the 13-yard line. That'll be enough for a Blue Devil first down just across the 15 at the 16, just what the Blue Devils needed for yardage in that first down.
Well, it was a pass play all the way, but it broke down quickly as Eastmont got some pressure up front as Brett Womack came from the defensive end side on the right. He's coming on a little stunt there. He got clipped, or just kind of clipped to the ground. Not an illegal clip, but just got knocked down, and the quarterback stepped inside of him where he left and was able to get enough for the first down.
Ball at the 16-yard line of the Blue Devils. Swant at quarterback. Holds the ball outside, then keeps it, runs inside, and gets popped.
Oh, my gosh.
Ethan Simpson, I believe, number 5, was it, Eric? Or did I get that wrong? I don't know if Simpson plays defense. Somebody with a 5 really put a licking on.
It was 5-1, Brett Womack in a couple of plays in a row here for Womack as he smacks him hard, and I think he'll go to bed tonight dreaming and having nightmares of 51 for the Eastmont.
Does get a yard on the play, so second down and 9 now for the Blue Devils. Clock continues to move, 1:55 left before halftime. Second down and 9 for Wahai. 4 receivers in this offensive set. Lone running back, Ongers in the backfield with Swant. You're going to give it to Ongers. Dives over the pile and gets about 1, maybe 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, I don't even know if he got that, Grant. Good job defensively for Eastmont up front, but we've got a Blue Devil that's down on the play holding his right knee. You never want to see him reach down and grab the knee. You hate that. But there was certainly a pile in the middle right where they were trying to run the football, and they were trying to run it over the top of David Valdivinos, but 6 foot 270, he makes a big pile inside. And unfortunately, it looks like the Blue Devils, not coming out well after that particular pile up in the middle.
Valdivinos has played a really solid game on both sides of the ball here in this first half.
Really has, and I mentioned that a moment ago that they moved him over to play center. You know, they were having some problems on those snaps, and I don't know why they took Braden Johnson, moved him outside, and basically had he and Valdivinos flop positions. But Valdivinos doing a great job offensively at center here. Our injury timeout, by the way, brought to you by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. And here's hoping for the best for that Blue Devil that's on the field right now as both teams kind of head towards their sidelines to get some water. It is cooler, but it's still hot out here.
It really is. The temperatures were about 80 degrees, 79 or something at kickoff time, so much cooler than we've seen, but still fairly warm, that's for sure.
Eastmont football here on the NCW Life Channel today, brought to you in part by First Choice Collision Center, Heritage Memorial Chapel, and Wenatchee Racket and Athletic Club, the RAC. And I didn't get a number on the
I'm still trying to figure that out, too.
It looks like 34, and that would have been the man who was carrying the ball. It is.
Ongers.
It is Ongers who was carrying the ball there. So you hate to see that for your running back. No gain on that play. 7 carries, 11 yards for Unger. And good to see him get back on his own 2 feet.
Boy, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like he's walking okay, too. Maybe that might have been a cramp, too, Eric. You never know. The way he's walking now, still a little bit gimpy on that right leg.
Yeah, the way he reached down kind of knee area. You just
didn't grab his calf.
Yep, and Lori Howe came out there for Eastmont, athletic trainer for a long time for the Wildcats, to lend her a hand and expertise and getting him off the field. Good to see him walking under his own power. Maybe we'll see Ongers back in this football game.
Minute 36 is all left in the first half. Eastmont, if you're just joining us, scored on their first 3 possessions of this ball game and lead at 18-0.
All of their touchdowns coming on the ground. The first by Devin Schneider, the second two by their quarterback, Kalen Massey. So a good job on the ground here for Eastmont. Now they're going to see if they can hold Walla Walla on the 3rd and long.
Swant in shotgun. 2 receivers far side of the field. He rolls that direction, looking downfield. Has a couple of receivers down there. Wick gets the reception and is hammered at the 20-yard line.
Preston Esparza came over and laid the lick. He just had his ears pinned back, saw the ball coming Wick's way, and laid the lick on Wick, and it will bring up a 4th down.
4th down and about 5 for Walla Walla, and Coach Hysaw wants to talk it over. We'll take a quick timeout, too. Minute 26 left, second quarter. Eastmont 18 and Walla Walla nothing. We're back in 30 seconds. Walla Walla thinking about this 4th down and 6. The ball on their own 20. I don't think there's much to think about, Eric. At this stage of the game, you're on your own 20-yard line, down 18-0. You kick the football away.
It has been an adventure, though, for their long snapper as well here today, Grant. They've had a couple of low snaps. We saw Eastmont get the ball to the 4-yard line after a botch snap for the Blue Devils. We should mention here, coming up at halftime, we'll try to get the audio as best we can and get the video. It is Hall of Fame night, or Hall of Fame day here for Eastmont for this weekend, as they induct some new members into their Eastmont High School Hall of Fame. They'll have a ceremony at halftime. We'll have that for you coming up as well here on the NCW Life Channel.
4th down and 6. Punter on the field. It's Jared McElvey. Back deep, Devin Snyder, but not too deep. He's standing now at the Walla Walla 45. He knows they've had some trouble. Flag comes down. The kick is just awful. I hate to put it any other way, and rolls out of bounds at the Walla Walla 29-yard line.
That was a 9-yard punt, Grant.
That looked like one of my wedge shots today. Kind of shanked off to the right.
They're going to say it was a procedure on the offense as far as lining up. I don't think they had enough men on the line of scrimmage, and sometimes you find that early in the season as you get your special teamers out there, maybe kids that don't have a chance to play a lot of varsity, a lot of starting roles, they'll get in there on special teams and not necessarily line up correctly, and I think that was the case there. So Eastmont's going to get great field position here with time on the clock.
Minute 21, Eric.
Chance to add to their lead.
It's a great position for Eastmont to be in, as you mentioned. Massey in at quarterback. Kalen Massey, the junior quarterback for the Wildcats. 2 receivers split out right side, the wide side of the field. The officials now moving the football back just a little bit more. It's going to be placed at the 30-yard line, 1st down and 10.
Yeah, the ball went out of bounds right about the 30.
Did,
so that was a 9-yard punt, and Eastmont, the beneficiary there. They declined the penalty. And let's see what they have drawn up here on 1st down.
Lopez in at tailback. Faked goes to him. Massey's going to keep it, and Walla Walla read that one all the way that time.
Colby Turner for the Blue Devils was in the backfield as they snapped the ball. A little bit too much penetration there, and he didn't go for the fake. He stayed with the quarterback. His job there, and he wraps up Massey for a 2-yard loss on the play.
Kind of happened last week against Kamiakin too, Eric. Kamiakin figured it out after a while, and Massey wasn't as successful at that read option. Here we go, 2nd down and 12 now, 30 on the 32-yard line. 49 seconds left to go before halftime. Massey drops the snap, picks it back up, rolls left side. Now he's going to keep it, grabbed by the jersey from behind. Might make it back to the line of scrimmage. It looks like he will.
Almost a horse collar could have been called there as A.J. Monguerrero reached out and grabbed a hold of the jersey, almost grabbing that shoulder pad back there. But even if you grab the neck of the jersey, that's still a horse collar. They don't call it. 3rd and 12 coming up for Eastmont.
20 seconds. Clock moving here. Left before halftime. Massey, shotgun, rolls to his right. He is hit. Didn't see him coming, and he goes down all the way back. I think he'd be spotted at about the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. Loss of at least 13 on that play.
Colby Turner has become the MVP of this defensive set here for Walla Walla, as it's a jailbreak as he comes back. And as you mentioned, Massey didn't even see him coming, and 30 paced him for a loss on the play all the way back to the 45-yard line. That will be the half.
So at the half here at Wildcat Stadium on the NCW Life Channel, it's Eastmont 18 and Walla Walla nothing. Our halftime show comes up in 60 seconds. Stay with us. Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium. Grant Olson along with Eric Granstrom. We are a couple of minutes away from the second half kickoff where Eastmont leads this one 18-0. Down the road schedule-wise for the Wildcats, Big 9 play begins next Friday. A home game right here at Wildcat Stadium against Moses Lake. Another home game follows that as West Valley comes to town. And then Eastmont hits the road and plays at Sandpoint, Idaho, the first Friday in October. Back to Big 9 play with a home game here at Davis, and then 3 away games for the Wildcats to end this season at Davis. Wenatchee, I guess not really an away game, but it is. And Eastmont will end the season with what looks like, Eric, a very tough Sunnyside team to end this season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the yin and the yang there. You start with so many home games to start the season when you got good weather, things like that. But then you end so many games away from home. So you got to take care of business on your home field when you get that opportunity. And so far in this first half, Eastmont doing just that. They had the first poll that came out. I don't know, Grant, anymore with the polls. You know, they poll the sports writers across the state. And how do you know what a B team plays like that's in Eastern Washington when you're a Western Washington reporter? I'm not sure. But Camas is the top-ranked 4A team right now through 1 week. Sumner is second. Richland third. Woodinville fourth. And then in the 3A poll, Eastside Catholic ranked number 1. O'Day, surprise, surprise, ranked number 2. Kamaikan, the team that we saw here last weekend, ranked third. Do you think that's the third-ranked team in the state?
I do not. I think most Kamaikan fans will tell you that's not the same team as last year. They lost a lot of great players.
Yeah, they did. In the 2A poll, Archbishop Murphy is ranked number 1. Linden and Tumwater are tied second. And in the 1A poll, Royal, again, ranked number 1. Connell, number 2. The usuals. Nobody from the Caribou Trail Lake made the top 10 in that first poll. The 2B poll, Napavine, Kalama, Liberty Bell. And in the 1B poll, Odessa, Lummi, and Sunnyside Christian. You got ACH, the Warriors, ranked third or fourth in the state.
And we're just about set to go. Second half coming your way right here on the NCW Life channel.
And the kickoff brought to you by TC Slingers. No more need for wheelbarrows, shovels, or rakes. We place the material for you. Have you seen that rig they've got?
I have seen it.
It's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
a big
awesome.
articulating arm that reaches back behind your house from the front of the house, and they can drop in cement back there and stuff
Who
like that.
doesn't love that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gerald McElvey will kick off for the Blue Devils. Back deep, Devin Snyder and Cole Warren for the Wildcats. A one-step approach to that kickoff, and it's taken by Snyder at the 20-yard line, moves up to the 25, finds a seam outside, 35, 40, gets a block at midfield, cuts it back inside, flag comes to flying in, and that may be a late holding call at the 45. Snyder brought down at the Walla 44.
Now, if they call this right, it should be a defensive face mask on the Walla Blue Devils, but I think the official's going to get that late. They are going to call Eastmont. Sorry, that's a bad call.
Wow, you're going to call it on Jacob Smitten, I think, Eric, number 86, who was blocking on the outside run.
Yeah, Dalton Thomas was out there as the last man on defense, and he reached up as the blocker came out on him to block him and grabbed a hold of the face mask of the Eastmont Wildcat and pushed it down so he couldn't even see. The official, meanwhile, saw the end of it where he had a handful of the jersey. That's always the second guy that gets the call.
So it would have been just fantastic field position. Still isn't bad for the Wildcats. They'll have it at their own 35-yard line to begin this second half. It would have been at the Walla 44. And we'll see what Kalen Massey and the offense can come up with here in this second half. Knighton back in at running back. He's in the backfield along with Massey's in shotgun. Fake handoff, Knighton. Pass goes left side, dropped. In and out of the hands.
Ethan Simpson right there, ball right in his hands, but you could see it just as the ball was coming to him. He turned to look downfield. He was thinking about what he was doing after the catch before completing the catch. Incomplete.
And he had a lot of open field after that catch if he'd have held on. I like the play call here to begin this second half for the Wildcats. Massey in the air on this first drive. Shotgun once again, 2 receivers far side of the field. Handoff this time is given to Knighton around the right side. Tries to get a block and then falls forward for about 2.
And a blocker out front. Alan Ortega was there on the corner as he pulled from the opposite side to come out and block in front of Knighton. Knighton tucked up in beside him, but a good job by the Blue Devil defense that time to come up and make the stop, as I believe it was.
I think Braden Thomas, Eric. Once again, he's made a lot of tackles here in this ball game.
He has. So a gain of 3, 3rd and 7 coming up for the Wildcats.
Just underway, third quarter. Eastmont leading it by 3 touchdowns, 18-0. Massey's shotgun, 2 receivers far side. Devin Snyder, the lone receiver on the near side. Fake handoff, Knighton. Pass going down the right side to Snyder. He has a beat on it, but good defense, and the pass a little bit underthrown. Keldon Swant, the backup quarterback, on coverage that time. The pass pretty good by Massey that time.
Absolutely, and I think it was Braden Thomas who got in there and got a hand in the face of the quarterback, Massey, as he was trying to deliver it, and that didn't allow him to get a full follow-through on the pass, and that's why it was a little high and a little short. Schneider had the height advantage there, but they just couldn't connect on the pass play.
Manny Lopez for the first punt of the ball game for the Wildcats. Ball is on Eastmont's 38-yard line. Lopez standing inside his own 25.
Now, they had problems with this snap last week. Let's see if they get this good snap from center this time.
Mason Knowles, the deep man for the Blue Devils. Snaps good. The kick, nice kick down the center of the field, taking it to the 32-yard line, or I should say the 27-yard line, across the 32, about the 32. Might have been Swant on that return, Eric. I didn't catch the number there.
I
But
think it was Dalton Thomas who was on the return there.
it wasn't Knowles, I don't think.
No, Thomas with the return. Pretty good coverage downfield for Eastmont to get over there and get after that fast wide receiver / kick returner for the Blue Devils. But Walla Walla, 3 and out for their defense. Now they get the ball back in the hands of their offense.
At their own 33-yard line. Looks like Swant, Eric, is staying in at quarterback. Keldon Swant, the sophomore, or I should say junior. Handoff fake to Wick. It's given to Ongers instead on a counter over the right side. Boy, if he wouldn't have
Ball
tripped
came
up right
out.
there.
No, they're going to say the ball's down.
But if Ongers would have kept his feet right there, he might still be running. Instead, it's a gain of about 4.
Wow. 8th carry of the ball game, and that was good for 5 yards. 16 yards for him on the ground in the game. And I don't know if they fixed some things offensively on the line up front, but boy, he had some room around that right side.
And you might think, Eric, that a big offensive line like this might be wearing down the defensive line of Eastmont a little bit as well. Once again, misdirection, but it's dropped and bobbled, picked up by Wick in the backfield, but that'll be a big loss. Back to about the 32, maybe 33. Original line of scrimmage, pretty close. Maybe a yard behind that even. So a nice break for the Wildcats there.
Loss of 6 yards is going to go against Wick on the ball game. So that's unfortunate for him in the stat column, because he's had a couple of plays where it wasn't his fault that the defense is in his face. A little bit bobble on the snap, and then the handoff was not clean, and sometimes you get your backup quarterback in there. That's going to happen.
2 receivers split out top of the screen. Once again, it's Keldon Swant in at quarterback. He's shotgun. Ongers in the backfield with him. Pass right side. It's a floater downfield to one of the tall receivers. It's bobbled and it's caught.
No, he dropped it.
Almost a fantastic catch by Jared McElvey, the 6'6 receiver. Pass was there that time by Swant.
Caleb Thomas was down there defensively on the coverage for Eastmont. He had great coverage. It was double coverage down there as their quarterback just kind of telegraphed his throw, and the receiver became the defender, coming up over the top and picking that ball away from Thomas and almost coming up with a fantastic grab, but it's going to be a 3 and out here for Walla Walla.
Both teams now, first possession of this half, punts, as Walla Walla will attempt a punt here. They've had some trouble. Once again, the ever dangerous Devin Snyder back to receive the punt for the Wildcats, standing in his own 35. Flags at the snap. It's a low, wobbly kick. Gets a Walla Walla bounce at the 40, still bouncing and rolling across the 30, and then down by Wick, it looks like at the 29-yard line, but we'll check the flag.
Not a 35-yard punt there, Grant, but we'll check the flag as it was thrown right at the snap of the ball. So I think we're going to get a procedure penalty against Walla Walla, as they did not line up correctly again on that punt coverage team. Evidently didn't have enough guys. See, sometimes you on the line of scrimmage, you're going to back guys up a little bit to try to form that wishbone to protect your punter in that case. Well, if you don't have the head of the helmet in line with the hips of the guy next to you, then you're not on the line of scrimmage, and that is not enough men on the line of scrimmage at the snap, and that's a procedure call.
Eric, you see that call at every level of football, college and the NFL as well. So we're going to do this all over again. I like Eastmont's chances in making him do it again.
Absolutely. That snap was a little high, so it'll be interesting on the pass from center once again.
Schneider moves up 5 yards to the 40, and another flag. Might be the same call. Pretty good kick. Snyder calls it for a fair catch at the 40.
Back him up. Make him punt it again.
Absolutely.
You never know what's going to happen with that snap back there.
And that was a pretty darn nice punt by McElvey,
That
too.
was the best all day as Schneider called for the fair catch back at the 40-yard line.
Procedure penalty called against the
Same call, Eric.
About 34 yards on that punt. And back them up. With the problems they've had with that pass from center, of course.
9 minutes, 37 seconds left to go here in the third. Eastmont continues to lead 18-0.
Did we have different teams come out after halftime here?
I think we did.
Neither team looks the same as what we had going at halftime. Now, it was a little lengthy halftime with the ceremony there. And sometimes you go in, you sit around for a while to get a little stale.
All right, McElvey will do it again. Snyder moves up ever closer to midfield. Almost blocked that time. Not as good a punt by McElvey either as it goes out of bounds on the fly. We'll see where this is spotted. It looks like it's going to be just outside the Blue Devil 40-yard line at the 41. So great field position for the Wildcats here in this second possession of the second half.
22-yard punt is all. So that's why, as a coach, you make them go back, punt it again. And the field position swap, once it was at Eastmont's 35-yard line, now it's all the way to the Walla Walla 41.
Can't blame McElvey. Heck, his foot was getting sore. Already kicked 2 35-yarders, and then he had a 22-yarder. Here we go, 1st and 10, Wildcats. Massey shotgun. Great field position at the Walla Walla 41. Handoff, Knighton right side, picked up some speed, cuts it back inside, but a nice tackle, and guess who once again? It's Braden Thomas on the stop. No gain on that run.
Well, that was a good read by Massey as he had to commit, had made that man on the end of line of scrimmage commit to him, and that was Ryan Moore that committed on the defensive end position as he got that ball into the hands of Knighton, but a good job by Braden Thomas to come up and make a stop of the play for a loss of 1.
Impressive outside linebacker, isn't he?
He is. Got some speed and got some heads-up play.
2nd and 11 now, Eastmont. Ball back at the 42. Pass quickly over the middle. I'm not sure who it was intended for, if it was intended for Davilar or Simpson.
Well, both had a shot at it. Davilar stopped his route. Simpson had the ball come up around his feet. So miscommunication there on that pass play. Going to bring up a 3rd and long for Eastmont. And both teams still stumbling out of the locker room here to start this second half.
Boy, they sure look flat, absolutely. Maybe too many bananas at halftime. Take care of that cramp problem. 3rd and 11 now, Wildcats. Massey shotgun. Knighton stays in there with him in the backfield. Fake handoff to Knighton. Pass out in the far flat. It's Simpson out there. And he's going nowhere. In fact, about the original line of scrimmage, I believe.
He got about 3 yards on that.
That was Davilar,
play.
excuse me, Eric.
Yeah, Davilar out there. Mason Knowles quickly, the defender on the corner out there, coming up and making the stop. Short gain on the play, punting situation for Eastmont.
Boy, a tale of two halves, as you mentioned, Eric. Eastmont scored in their first 3 possessions of the ball game. Now their first 2 possessions here in the second half will be punts. Once again, Manny Lopez in. Dalton Thompson back deep for the Blue Devils. Lopez stands at the Eastmont 47-yard line. Great snap. Lots of time for Lopez, but a wobbly short kick. Gets an Eastmont bounce, though, across the 15 and down at the Walla Walla 10-yard line.
And it turns out to be a 28-yard punt for Eastmont, downing it down at the 10. So the field position game in the favor of the Wildcats here. Let's see what they can do.
I think it was in the back of Lopez's mind, Eric, that he couldn't boom that one because he was fairly close. So still not bad. You pin him back at the 10-yard line.
Football on the broadcast today brought to you in part by Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge, your Town Chrysler family store where people get nice surprises. Also by Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Take a walk on the wild side.
Backup quarterback Keldon Swat still in there. 1st and 10 Blue Devils at their own 10-yard line. Here's a reverse from the wide receiver position. It's Wick. And he is hammered behind the line of scrimmage.
Tonga.
Boy, you have to account for this kid every play. He's just a load out there. That'll be a loss of about 3.
If I ever hear the Chelan PUDs having a break in the dam, let's bring Tonga over there and just shove him in the hole, because that basically is what he just did there against the Walla Walla offense. My, oh, my.
Boy, is he a player for the Wildcats. on that defensive line. Now 2nd and 12 for the Blue Devils at their own 8-yard line. 7 minutes, 39 seconds left to go third quarter. Low snap, and it's picked off over the middle at the 20-yard line, and it's Zenner back in there making that pass. So Zenner throws his first attempt, I believe, or second attempt, and it's picked off by the Wildcats.
I don't know who he was throwing it to. I didn't see a white jersey within 5 yards there. Jordan Jessup just lays out, makes the interception for Eastmont, the 5'5", 150-pounder. One of the smallest guys on the field comes up with one of the biggest plays on a turnover for the Wildcats.
How about that? Eastmont back in business now at the Walla Walla 20-yard line. 1st down and 10. Massey lowers his arms, his snap, fake reverse. No, it is given on the reverse left side. What a hit by Dalton Thompson on that run that time by Cole Warren.
Yeah, Warren's going to think maybe he wants to be a backup quarterback again after that.
Get me back to that.
Goodness, gain of a yard on the play. Yeah, he still got some positive out of it, but oh my, that's going to hurt tomorrow.
Bring up 2nd down and 8 to make it 9 rather for Eastmont. Ball inside the Wahai 20-yard line at the 18. Knighton in the backfield with Massey. 2 receivers short side of the field. It's going to be a keeper by Massey up the middle. Sidesteps a couple of tackles. Gets inside the 15 down to the 14. Nifty run that time by Kalen Massey.
Well, Massey, I've said that, I'd like to see him get a little bit lower, but that time, because he was tall, because he was a narrow target, missed 3 Blue Devils and was able to get a couple of extra yards out of it.
Kind of do-si-do through the middle of that line and bring up 3rd down and 4 now.
Swing your partner.
Same formation, 2 receivers left side. Massey going to keep it again. Fake handoff, has room up the middle again. Fighting to inside the 10 to 1st down yardage, and I think he's got it.
Yep, gain of 7 yards there for Massey. Good job reading the defense again. Keeps it himself, gets another gain, his 14th carry of the ball game. And with that 7-yard game, he's got 46 yards on the day and 2 touchdowns here for Eastmont.
And another nice push, Eric, by David Valadinos, who's doing an outstanding job against a very big defensive line for the Blue Devils.
Well, that's one thing about that big line for Walla Walla. You keep pushing on them on a hot day like this, they'll gas out on you.
3 linemen jumped that time for the Blue Devils on a hard count by Massey, and it worked. That'll give Eastmont another 5 yards, and that'll be a 1st and goal down at the 3.
Half the distance on that one. 8 penalties against Walla Walla so far on the day. Frustrating day for the coaching staff for the Blue Devils.
Takes the ball inside the 5.
Ball is placed at the 4-yard line. You're right after the distance, Eric. Under 6 minutes now left to go third quarter. Eastmont looking to put more points on the scoreboard, already leading at 18-0. Massey's shotgun, just 2 receivers left.
Again.
Wow. This will be another half the distance. How many penalties is that now for Walla Walla, Eric?
9 penalties in the ball game. You can't win when you have that going on.
Almost seems like it's more than that, really, at this point. But
well, they've had several that were declined.
That's right. 1st and goal now at the Blue Devil 2-yard line.
1st and goal to go.
The thing about it is if they keep jumping off sides, you can't get a touchdown on a penalty.
That's right. They're going to have to score eventually. Handoff, Knighton right side, cuts it back in, across the goal line. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Touchdown, Jack Knighton.
2-yard touchdown run for Knighton.
5'6", 160-pound senior was smelling the end zone this time around. Gets his first touchdown of the 2017 campaign, and Eastmont in charge of this one against the visitors from the south.
Boy, had great field position at the Walla Walla 20. It only took him 4 plays. Then that 2-yard run by Jack Knighton. Here's Lopez on now for the extra point try. Going to try and kick this one.
Manny's got a good leg. They just need to give him a chance to kick it.
There it is, right through the middle, and it's good. 5 minutes, 31 seconds left to go. Third quarter. It's now Eastmont 25 and Walla Walla nothing. This is Eastmont Wildcat football at NCW Life Channel. We're back here in 30 seconds. The Eastmont Wildcats scored their 4th touchdown of the afternoon. Only went 20 yards, as I mentioned, on 4 plays, highlighted by a 2-yard Jack Knighton touchdown run. Manny Lopez's kick is good, and we are now at 25-0. Eric, I'm shocked. I don't know if I'm shocked, but I'm definitely surprised by this one so far.
I just wondered, after watching that first half, especially last week against Kamaikan, a very good football team. Eastmont played them to the teeth in that first half anyway, and just had some bad situations, had some bad penalties, had some turnovers, had some special team breakdowns, and you wondered, okay, what really is this team? Well, I think we're seeing that here today with 4 touchdowns all on the ground.
And an outstanding defense, absolutely, this afternoon. Great kick by Lopez, goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Manny Lopez.
Our broadcast here today on the NCW Life Channel brought to you by Town Nissan, your local East Wenatchee Nissan dealer, where honesty and transparency come first. Also by Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee. Real clothes for real women. Just a reminder, coming up tonight, we've got more soccer on the broadcast starting at 7 o'clock, as it's Wenatchee against Central Valley starting at 7 right here on the NCW Life Channel. Then a hockey Sunday starts at noon. West Kelowna against Wenatchee from last year, as the Wild begin a new season. Will set your flavor.
1st and 10, Blue Devils, handoff. Ungers has room over the right side. Nice block by that right tackle over the 25 to about the 27, and a gain of 7 on first down.
Yeah, 7-8 yards on that first ground gainer on the handoff, and we saw that as they came out of the locker room. That was their first play. As they came out of the locker room, Ungers had room on the right side. Until Eastmont stops you, keep running that.
And you got that great big offensive line. That's what I'd keep doing. Forget the fancy stuff and just, like you said, Eric, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. 2nd down and 2. Ball at the Wahai 28-yard line. Possible blitz, and it is a blitz by Eastmont. Handoff is to Wick. Nice blocking up front again, but nice pursuit as well by the Wildcats, and a gain up to about the 30. That'll be close to a first down. Needed 2 and got it.
Yeah, I think that will be a first down. The ball right at the 30-yard line. They had the ball go in the end zone on the kickoff. So that'll be a first down, gain of a couple of yards. First time for Wick in a while to get positive yardage after 4 consecutive carries that were negative. He still has negative yardage on the day. 5 carries, minus 9 yards.
Well, what great experience this is for a sophomore, though, isn't it, Eric? This kid's going to be good.
I can't even imagine. As a sophomore, I don't know, you went to probably a smaller school.
I started at quarterback as a sophomore.
Did you really?
Yes.
Okay.
The starter got hurt a week before the first game, and I was on the rest of the season.
Holy cow.
Big break, literally. 1st and 10 now for Wahai.
Timeout, I think, Blue Devils here.
Coach Hysaw out onto the field, and it will be a timeout. 4:26 now left to go, third quarter. It's Eastmont 25 and Walla Walla nothing. We're back with more on the NCW Life Channel right after this. Blue Devil football, 1st down and 10. Swant hands it off to the running back, who gets absolutely popped at the 30-yard line. That was Ungers on the carry. Once again, Brett Womack, Eric.
Was it Womack? I thought it was 33 that hit him in the hole there. Ruben Peck.
Yeah, I think you're right, Eric.
6 foot, 200-pound senior came up and said, hello.
Boy, I guess. And they have defenses played fantastic this afternoon. 2nd and 10 now for the Blue Devils, as we are under 4 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Blue Devils just cannot get anything going on offense here. 2 receivers far side of the field. Once again, it's Keldon Swant in at quarterback in shotgun. Once again, counterplay. It's Wick with that speed. Left side, makes a move, gets past the 40 to the 50. Tackled from behind then inside Eastmont territory at the 48-yard line.
Finally making a touchdown-saving tackle was Preston Esparza. The 5'10", 160-pound junior came up and was able to finally make the stop on Wick, who we kind of had a feeling this kid would have some speed if he could get an open space. Well, he found his open space there and takes it ahead for a gain to the 47 of Eastmont.
So, Eric, does that 23-yard gain get him into positive territory now? Good.
Finally.
Okay. Blue Devils now in business inside Wildcat territory at the 47-yard line. Wick and Ungers in the backfield with Swant. In shotgun, same play, this time misdirection to Ungers. As he starts right, goes left, and picks up about 2.
He got a couple of yards out of that, and really lucky to do that, because shooting the gap, Christian Tonga was back there again, had a hold of his end of his jersey, and Tonga did all he could to try to get him down to the backfield for a no gain on the play, but he's able to keep the legs chopping and got a couple. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Devils.
Boy, and you get the feeling, Eric, that if Eastmont gets a stop here, this is really going to take the wind out of Walla Walla's sails now with 2:40 left in the third. Swant shotgun. Handoff straight ahead. Ungers is nailed by Tonga again, this time right at the original line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of about 2.
12 carries and 24 yards in the game unofficially for Ungers now. And like we said, Unger's going to have some nightmares about that 48 for Eastmont. Christian Tonga winning the battle at the line of scrimmage single-handedly right now for the Eastmont defense.
He is so strong against a very big offensive line. And it's now 3rd down and 9 for Walla Walla at the Eastmont 47. Trips far side of the field this time. Swat shotgun looks that way. Tonga, his big hand up there, couldn't get a hand on it. Doesn't matter though. Pass is complete at midfield, and then a great tackle out there. And a loss again. This will be back at about the 50-yard line.
Mason Knowles on the reception out there, and I think it was Esparza on the tackle.
It was, Eric, yeah.
And just Eastmont doing a good job of sniffing that one out, knowing, and that's about homework there. That's about watching film on these guys and knowing what they're going to do out of certain situations, certain alignments, and that's exactly what Eastmont sniffed out there and made a stop for a loss on the play and a punting situation for Walla Walla.
I'm thinking they got to go for it here, don't they, Eric? Down 25-0. A minute and a half left in the third. Looks like they are going to kick now, Eric. The kicking team jogging onto the field. McElvey back to punt. Kind of surprises me a bit. It really does. But 12 yards to go for a first down is tough going when you haven't really had that much of a gain the entire game. Here's the kick.
And we got a flag down and another procedure penalty coming against Walla Walla. Not lining up correctly. And so they blow it dead this time. That's the 10th penalty for 55 yards in the game here for Walla Walla.
And that's, what, the 4th penalty of this variety, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. They had 3 in a row on their last punting situation, and here they come again with a punting situation. So let's take a look here at what's happening on the line. That's where you got to look at what they're doing here procedurally, and now they're getting the man out there off the field, Josiah Wick, who was having the problems, and now he steps up on the line of scrimmage here, the man that came near side. So that was the problem. He was not covering the end man on the line of scrimmage, and a high punt sails off the side of the foot, and another short punt, and Eastmont's going to have great field position.
With 57 seconds left to go in this third quarter. And as Eric mentioned, Eastmont's going to have it at their own 40-yard line. They've had just outstanding field position here in this game. The worst field position, Eric, that Eastmont has had in this game is at their own start at their own 35. That's not bad.
Hey, and we've talked about that a few times here. If you could draw it up this way and show it to Coach Don and say, here's what we're guessing is going to happen, he'd say, yeah, I'll take that 3 times on Saturday and 4 more on Sunday, please.
The football predictor thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. 1st and 10 now. Eastmont offense back on the field. There's that receiver reverse to Devin Snyder. Had a little bit of room at first, but a lot of white jerseys converged after about a yard gain for Snyder.
Yeah, Keldon Swant, the man who's taken over at quarterback, also playing both ways here as a free safety, came all the way up from his free safety position to make that stop, just a gain of a yard on the counter to Snyder.
Backup quarterback Swant, Eric's actually made a couple of plays on defense, a good defender as well. And it's done a pretty decent job in backup role to Zenner. Here we go, 2nd down and 9 now, 41-yard line of Eastmont. Wildcats with the football. It's given to Talley. Tucks the ball in, left side, cuts it back up field, drops the football.
I think Walla Walla's got it.
I think you're right, Eric, at about the 46-yard line.
It's a gain of 3 yards for Talley, the backup running back there.
And it is Walla Walla football. First turnover, I believe, for Eastmont in the entire day.
It is.
And a break for Walla Walla, and boy, do they need it. Down 25-0 with 11 seconds left in the third quarter.
I didn't see which of the Blue Devils jumped on that ball there, but just as he was coming down on the tackle, looked like they stripped the ball out, came free, and so now Walla Walla, their best field position start of the day at the Eastmont 46-yard line.
The first time they have started a drive in Eastmont territory.
And we're going to get a timeout taken by Eastmont.
11 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. It's Eastmont 25 and Walla Walla nothing. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll be back right here on the NCW Life Channel. So the Blue Devils get a break on a fumble by the Wildcats and have it 1st down and 10 at the Eastmont 46-yard line. 11 seconds is all left to go here in the third quarter. Both teams back onto the field.
And our broadcast brought to you in part by First Choice Collision Center, Heritage Memorial Chapel, and Wenatchee Racket and Athletic Club.
Keldon Zant shotgun. Ongers and Wick in the backfield with him. 3 receivers in the set as well. Here's the snap. It's a good one. Swant goes right side. Has a big, tall receiver there, and it's picked up by Devin Snyder. Far sideline. Got some speed. The 45 knocked out of bounds. bounds in front of the Blue Devil bench at the Walla Walla. It looks like 48-yard line.
That ball was just a jump ball up the far sideline at about the 30 of Eastmont, and a great job by the defenders to close. Schneider was the deep man. The ball tipped up in the air on the deflection. Schneider comes up with it and then races up the far sideline, and if it weren't for Swant, that would have been a touchdown going the other way for Eastmont.
After a gift for Walla Walla, a fumble recovery in Eastmont territory, the Blue Devils give it right back in the second interception of this half. One thrown by Zenner and one now by Swant.
Swant, tough stats on the day. He's 2 for 3 for 2 yards and an interception.
Ooh.
Your quarterback rating is not going to be very good.
No, it isn't.
But credit the Eastmont defense for making another stellar stop. Eastmont getting some fresh bodies there on the offensive line as Alan Ortega came in a little bit late.
Massey shotgun, looks left, has a receiver down there, left side, Simpson, and did he hold on? No, he didn't, or he was out of bounds. At about the 23, nice grab, but it will go incomplete to Ethan Simpson.
I think if he holds on to the ball, it's a reception, but I think the ball came out as he hit the ground out of bounds over there. Pretty decent coverage by Mason Knowles for Walla Walla, but even better on the pass here for Eastmont as Massey put that up right where only his receiver could get it, and we come to the end of the third quarter.
At the end of 3 here at Wildcat Stadium, it's Eastmont 25 and Walla Walla nothing. We're back here to Wildcat Stadium on the NCW Life Channel in 60 seconds. 1 quarter left to play in game number 2 of the Eastmont Wildcats season, and it's been a good one for the homestanding Wildcats, leading this one 25-0 with the football in Walla Walla territory. Second down and 10. Massey stays in at quarterback. Tally in at running back. It's a fake to Tally. Keeper up the middle, and a nice hole once again for Massey. A pickup of about 8 on second down.
Nice job by Massey again with that option read. He was able to see the gap in the defense and just enough of a crease there for him to slip through as he continues to pull down his knee, part of his padding on his right side. I don't know the kids anymore. Do they wear knee pads or do they wear a little pad underneath of their pants?
I think that's all they do. I don't think they're actually knee pads anymore. I can't even imagine that, can you? 3rd down and 3 now, Wildcats.
But we're old, Grant.
We are at the Walla Walla 41. Thanks for the reminder. There's Massey. Back to pass on 3rd and 3. Aired it out to Simpson, who's open on the sideline, makes the grab at the 21-yard line.
Good pass again. 2nd in a row, looking the left side for Simpson. Simpson had a man under, a man over. Perfectly placed for Massey down the near sideline. A gain all the way to the 21-yard line.
That's how you use a 6'4" receiver right there. Great pass.
25 yards on that pass play.
25 yards as Eastmont has it now in good shape, almost in the red zone. Outside the 20 at the 21. Massey looks things over. Only 2 receivers in this set. Handoff this time goes to Tally. Thought about the outside, cuts it back up. So some nifty running inside the 20 at about the 15. Still on his feet. Then brought down by about 4 Blue Devil defenders, but not after a nice gain of about 7 for Tally.
61 yards on the ground for Tally. He's got 38 through the air as he's taking this offense under his command and saying, I'm the man. I'm going to make it happen here. Let's do this.
Only a sophomore, too, Eric. Great running back in the future, probably for the Eastmont Wildcats, along with the sophomore Wick on the other side. 2nd down and short, 2nd and about 3 for the Wildcats. Tally remains in the backfield. This time it's Davalar to the left side. Simpson makes the catch at the 5 on a slant. Kind of a delayed slant. He came from the outside. It wasn't really a slant. It was just kind of a
just a crossing pattern.
Crossing pattern is right. And Simpson makes that great grab.
Yep, 11 yards on the gain down to the 4-yard line as, a little bit under more control is Massey on these pass plays. Lofting it when he needs to. That time, threw it on a rope right to him.
Getting a little more confidence now with that arm as Massey and Eastmont looking for more points now. 1st down and goal at the 5-yard line. Handoff goes misdirection once again, and a gain almost to the goal line.
That
Football's loose.
Ball came out. Looks like the Blue Devils might have it back again.
Boy, that was a strip, it looked like, at about the 3-yard line.
Yep, It's Walla Walla football. My, oh my. You get it down to the 4-yard line, and we talked about finishing. That's 2 turnovers here in the second half for Eastmont on a golden opportunity inside the 5-yard line.
Second fumble on 2 of the last possessions now for Eastmont. And as Eric mentioned, quite a gift for Walla Walla. They got a long way to go, all the way back at the 2-yard line. First down and 10 now for the Blue Devils. 9:45 left to go, fourth quarter. Eastmont on top, 25-0.
Well, if you're the defense and especially Tonga up front, as much penetration as he's had, he's going to peer in his ears back here, look to get 2 for the defense.
Swat remains in at quarterback. I don't know if that is Swan. That might be Zenner again, Eric.
I think it's 5, and he kept the ball over the right side there. Maybe got it back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it.
Boys, forward progress is about it. Eastmont, of course, the defense wanted a safety there as he was taken back into the end zone.
Yeah, that is 5.
So Zenner is back in there. Platooning between him and Keldon Swant throughout the day. That'll be no gain, second down and 10.
Yeah, it kind of limits your playbook here. I can't imagine they're going to throw much from this position here offensively for Walla Walla at their own 2-yard line.
Once again, Zenner, the starter, back in there in shotgun. Has Onger and Wick back in the backfield with him. He's going to keep it, though, just to give his offense some breathing room.
Welcome to Mr. Womack once again. Got a yard gain, maybe out to the 4, maybe a couple of yards on that play. But again, great job by Brett Womack reading the play, getting the job done at the linebacker position. He's had a fantastic game here for Eastmont.
This defense has played just outstanding today. I think a much better defense than last week against Kamiakin, that's for sure. Just as a game, a body of work today has been great.
9 carries, 34 yards unofficially for Zenner here in this ball game.
Third down and 8 now for Wahai. They send their big receiver, McElvey, to the short side of the field. 2 receivers near side. Center stays in, is in shotgun. Low snap, he handles it. Going to loft one up down the left sideline to that big, tall receiver, but too far. And it goes incomplete, and that'll bring up fourth down for the Blue Devils.
I honestly think he didn't think he had a chance on that throw on the far sideline over there as he was looking for McElvey over there. Good coverage by Eastmont as running down the field with him was McElwain for the Wildcats, and Snyder coming up over the top. I think he was looking for a penalty more than he was looking for an actual completion there.
And Wahai will punt with 8:10 left to go here in the ball game, and not much room for McElvey as he stands at the back of the end zone.
I think it's time for Schneider to return this ball for a touchdown here near sideline.
Standing at only the 35-yard line of Walla Walla. High snap. Did it go over the out? It did. It went over the
end line. But we had a flag down at the line of scrimmage, so we'll see if this is again a procedure call against the Blue Devils. It should be a safety here for the Eastmont defense.
The officials indicate a safety.
Yep, it's a procedure penalty against the defense or the offense. That'll be declined, and it is a safety, so 2 points for the Eastmont Wildcats.
And they'll take it, 27-0. It makes up for a couple of those PATs that didn't quite work out in the first half. So 8:09 left to go here, fourth quarter. Eastmont on top, 27-0. They will get the football back as well after that safety, Eric, so they can probably run some time off this clock is the goal now.
Yeah, absolutely. Eastmont just really taking the opportunities given them here today and capitalizing on them for the most part. They've had a couple of gaps with a couple of turnovers here in the second half. But, hey, you take what the team will give you, and they gave you 2 points right there. Hey, a reminder that our second half kickoff brought to you by TC Slingers, Rock, Bark, Sand, Soil. We place the material for you. We appreciate you joining us here on the NCW Life Channel. Along with Grant Olson, I'm Eric Grandstrom. We've got Michael Price and Jay Seebeck taking care of the camera work today. We've got Becca Freemuth and Caitlin Hedersheet back in the studios making sure all the knobs and dials are put in the proper place.
That's
we
right.
can get this picture on our Channel 12 on Local-Tel, Channel 19 on Charter, and 47.1 over the air. And thanks for watching us online if you're doing so at ncwlife.com.
Here's McElvey to kick off now from the 20-yard line. And it's going to go into the hands of Cole Warren at about the 30, up to the 40 quickly to 45. Stalls out there. Now regains some speed across midfield. Still on his feet. 45. Getting a push from the line all the way down to the 40. Still on his feet to 35. And he will not go down. Far sideline. Are you kidding me? All the way down to the Walla Walla 31-yard line. How about that?
Wow.
That's about a 39-yard kickoff return. When he was stopped after about 11, it appeared anyway, as there was a big rugby scrum there in the middle, but he just kept going and going. It was the Energizer Bunny.
That was the definition of what coaches tell you. Keep your feet moving. Keep your legs moving. That was amazing.
So great field position for Eastmont at the Walla Walla 31 to start this possession.
They have had lots of great field position today, leading at 27-0. Massey shotgun. Two receivers far side of the field. Snyder on the left. Handoff instead is over the left side. Manny Lopez.
Gain of a yard.
5'8", 200-pounders, Manny Lopez.
Eastmont's Manny Lopez, the ball carrier for the Wildcats.
I like giving it to Manny in a lot of this drive. 7.5 minutes left, Eric.
Exactly. Just hand it to the big kid and have him just churn the legs. I would kind of like to see it go more inside with Manny rather than try to pop it outside, as he's replacing the lineup here by Talley as they work multiple backfield here for Eastmont, facing a 2nd and 9 after a yard gain on first down.
I love the fact Cole Warren on the sidelines, all smiles right now, getting all kinds of high fives and fist pumps. That was some kind of return. 2nd and 9, ball at the Walla Walla 30-yard line. Handoff goes to Talley, far side, has a little bit of room, and then corralled from behind. Nice tackle.
Boy, was getting a good block out there by Schneider, but a good job chasing the play down by Braden Thomas again. We've called his name at number 43 all day today. The 6 foot, 170-pound, just a sophomore, doing a great job of reading what he can get and using his speed and quickness to get out there to make the tackle.
He has made a lot of stops today, as Eric mentioned. No gain, 3rd down and 9. Ball stays at the Wahai 30-yard line. Clock moving now, 6.5 minutes left in the ball game. Two receivers split out left side. It's Devin Snyder and Simpson. Talley in the backfield. Quick hitter over the middle to Davalar. And he is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Once again, no gain.
Ball came loose at the end of the play there. He was twisted kind of awkwardly on the tackle, as it was defensively for Walla Walla coming up and making the stop. Number 30, Colby Turner, that time. He's had a pretty good game here for Walla Walla defensively as well, and the Blue Devils doing a pretty good job. Just a 1-yard gain on that play.
4th down and 9. Eastmont looks like we'll go for it here, deep into Walla Walla territory, with Massey in shotgun.
Who caught that last one? It was
Davalar.
Okay.
He's in the slot right now along with Simpson. Low snap. Massey picks it up off the turf, rolls left, looks down into the end zone, trying to find Simpson there, but it's too high.
And I'm surprised
he ran out of room.
I'm surprised I don't see any flags on the field, because he had linemen that were, 10, 12 yards downfield when he got rid of that football. So the 4th down play goes for naught and goes over to the hands of the Blue Devils.
30-yard line, 1st and 10.
So the 5th drive of this half for the Eastmont Wildcats results in them turning it over on downs to Walla Walla, which gives the Blue Devils the ball at their own 30-yard line.
We'll see who comes out at quarterback here for Walla Walla. I like the looks of Nick Zenner. He's, just about split evenly on the time today as he comes out off the sidelines here. And I think he's got a pretty good future. He obviously can carry the ball running it. He just needs to settle himself down passing a little bit here for the Blue Devils.
I think he's just a little more athletic, don't you, than Swant.
Yep.
Zenner in shotgun. Wick, the sophomore, is with him in the backfield. Mason Knowles in the slot near side for the Blue Devils. Low snap. Handoff goes to Wick. Left side. Gets nowhere. And fantastic penetration.
We've got some substitutes in the ballgame here for Eastmont defensively. Justin Ordway with a big tackle for a loss on the play. Way to go, Justin.
Shot the gap, right, Eric?
Yes.
That was amazing. Good play. 5:13 left to go, 4th quarter.
Nathan Holteroff comes in to replace Tonga. He had a great game here for Eastmont as they get fresh bodies out there for the Wildcats.
Zenner stays in at quarterback, sends 3 receivers out to the right side. One receiver, top of the screen, with Unger in the backfield. Low snap once again. It's given to Unger's left side, and really nowhere to go. Maybe up to the 30-yard line. Gain of 1 on that play.
13 carries, 25 yards unofficially for Unger here in the ball game. Looks like he had a cramp at the end of that run there as his offensive lineman comes over quickly to help him out. Adam Kopp says, "Here, I'll stretch you out there, big fella."
The sophomore Ordway once again on that stop.
Let's get the substitutions here for Eastmont defensively. Get their credit where credit is due. Christian Flores wears number 58. He's on the defensive line here for Eastmont. Also in there is Landon McClune. He's number 42. The big fellow up front, let's see, Justin Ordway. Is that Ordway that's out there? No, Nathan Holteroff that's out there. He's a 6'4", 240-pound sophomore. What are they feeding these kids? Ordway is out there, 5'4", 205 pounds, built like a bowling ball.
But he moves. He can move.
He certainly does.
3rd down and 10 for the Blue Devils. Ball at their own 29-yard line. 5 receivers in this offensive set. 3 near side, 2 in the top of the screen. Zenner back to pass. Looks right. He's in trouble. Ball's loose and right into the hands of Nathan Holterhoff, the sophomore lineman. And look what I found, and it's Eastmont football.
You gotta love that. Holteroff says, whoa, wait a minute. I only touched this in practice, and it's only by mistake.
I'd love to see him rumble into the end zone. That didn't happen, but it was cool nonetheless. And Eastmont has it at the WALLA 19-yard line with just over 4 minutes left in this one and leading 27-0.
I think that's what the 3rd turnover on the day for the Blue Devils offensively. So Eastmont has the ball in good condition here at the 19 of the Devils.
3 turnovers offensively and 1 fumbled snap on a punt. 4 turnovers in this game. And
4.
It's tough to win when you do that, isn't it? Here's a delay handoff, a new running back into the ball game.
No, it's actually the quarterback. New quarterback in there is Carson Everhart, as he's a sophomore in calling the plays now, and he called his own number on that one and gets a gain of 9 yards on his first carry from scrimmage.
Not bad. 6'4", 165-pound sophomore. A lot of sophomores on this Eastmont team.
Yep.
2nd down and short. 2nd and 1. Ball at the WALLA 10-yard line.
Everhart out there at the commands of his coaching staff saying, hey, chew as much clock as you can, get it down to 5 before you snap the ball.
And they do as they fake it to Lopez. Everhart's going to keep it, and he rumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats. 10 yards for Everhart. That's 19 yards on 2 carries. And the sophomore gets a touchdown.
That's the way to start your varsity career right there.
That's great.
Congratulations to Everhart. Boy, he's a big kid, too.
6'4". If he fills out at 165 right now, he's going to be some kind of thrower. We haven't seen him throw, though, yet, have we?
No, well, and I don't think we will here.
No, we won't.
Eastmont with the game well in hand. Let's see if Manny Lopez and the special teams here can get a decent snap and get a good kick on this extra point.
Kalen Massey, the quarterback, is the holder. Snaps good, ball's down, kick is up by Lopez, and it's through good. 3 minutes, 21 seconds left to go in this one. And it's been all Eastmont. They lead it now by a score of 34-0. We'll be back here in 30 seconds. Stay with us. Eastmont, 2 plays, 19 yards, highlighted by a 10-yard touchdown run by the backup quarterback Carson Everhart. The PAT is good on a kick from Manny Lopez, and Eastmont now running away with this one like they haven't been already, but our score now 34-0 with 3 minutes and 21 seconds left. Eric, this has been a great performance, both sides of the ball for Eastmont
It
today.
really has, and they really needed this after a struggle the first 2 years out of the box for Coach Michael Don. Finally has a team that, as you talked to him last week before the ball game, he said he had a good offseason with this club, worked a lot on leadership with these seniors and juniors to make sure they take the reins and be responsible for what's going to happen here on the field and off the field for Eastmont, as they did have some disciplinary problems last year, and they put that all behind them now, and good to see them come out here on a Saturday afternoon after a delay, a game they should have played on Friday night, and get a big win here at home.
There's a squib kick this time. And it was Massey, the quarterback, that kicked it that time, too.
Look out.
And a big hit again. It's Mason Knowles on the return that goes nowhere. barely across the 20 to about the 23.
Dominic Torres on the tackle downfield on the special teams for Eastmont. Our broadcast today brought to you in part by Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee. Real clothes for real women. Also Town Nissan, your local East Wenatchee Nissan dealer, where honesty and transparency come first. Also brought to you in part by First Choice Collision Center, Heritage Memorial Chapel, and the Wenatchee Racket and Athletic Club.
Nick Zenner back out at quarterback. He was the starter for Walla Walla. He's been platooning with Keldon Swant throughout this game, but it looks like it'll be Zenner here down the stretch with 3:15 left. 1st and 10, Wahai at their own 23-yard line.
And you got to feel for the Blue Devils, too. You got that 5-hour bus ride on the way home after this one, and they'll be licking their chops for a while, and a tough way to spend a Saturday here. 5 hours on a bus ride here, 5 hours on a bus ride back, and you lose on the road.
Wick on the carry for 1 yard that time. 2nd and 9. Clock continuing to move. Under 3 minutes now left in this ball game. What a great way to go into Big 9 play next week for the Wildcats, too, against Moses Lake, who I think is going to have a pretty decent team this year. This is a great way to go into that matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Prater Brookhover came into the ball game now. He's over at the defensive right position here on the end for Eastmont.
Zenner now, a little razzle-dazzle. It's Knowles on the reverse. Does break a tackle on the outside. Nice spin move on the sideline. A flag is down. We might have an illegal block right there, Eric.
Yeah, I think that Sparza got clipped from behind. It was right in front of the official, so this one's coming back. This will be the 11th penalty of the game that's been accepted against Walla Walla.
You have 11 penalties and 4 turnovers. It is very tough to win a ball game.
That is a spot foul. I believe they take it from the spot, not from the previous. No, they are going to take it from the previous. Well, let's see here. Nope, it is a spot foul. So they'll mark it back 10 yards from the point of the foul. So it'll take it back behind the original line of scrimmage back to the 20-yard line. So that's 11 penalties and 65 yards. And right now, Walla Walla may have more penalties than they do yards in this ball.
Wow. 2nd and 13 now for the Blue Devils. Wick and Ongers back in the backfield. 3 receivers also in the offensive set. Zenner in shotgun. Wick now in motion. Option play, and he's going to keep it right up the middle and does pick up some positive yardage, about 5 yards, up to near the 30-yard line.
Well, that's a little more than that, as they were about 4 yards back of the original line of scrimmage.
You're right, about 9 then on the carry. Yep. You're right.
Well, when he's decisive and he makes that decision to go, I mean, he's had some success here for Walla Walla in this football game.
3rd and 4 now. Ball at the Walla Walla 29-yard line. Zenner shotgun. Option play again. This time he does pitch it to Wick. Almost Sparza gets him in the backfield, but he gets away. Wick still on his feet, rolling down the sideline to about the 40. That'll be a first down, a gain of about 12 for Wick, and a nice run by the sophomore on that far sideline.
Left a trail of would-be tacklers over there on the far side, a lot of whiffs over there, and maybe his nickname is Slick Wick on that one because he was awfully slippery up the far sideline.
And Esparza had a shot at him at about the line of scrimmage, but he shimmied away from him, and a nice 12-yard gain, first down for the Blue Devils. Running out of time with 1:28 left in the 4th quarter. Zenner shotgun, hands it off to Ongers this time. He slips a tackle, heads up the middle of the field, gain of about 4. That'll bring up 2nd down and 6 now for the Blue Devils.
Well, you get some of the replacements in there for Eastmont, not necessarily holding their gaps, not playing their position, kind of doing a little head hunting right now, looking for that football. As Holterhoff, the man who came up with that fumble right in his lap here earlier, kind of was looking a little bit more than playing the position that time.
Counter play.
Oh, and there he comes through with a tackle. So just as I said, one thing, then he comes through, shoots the gap, and makes a tackle for a loss on the play, a loss of 4 yards.
You're psychic, aren't you, Eric?
Well, he's telling me this guy up there in the booth doesn't know what he's talking about.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 9 after that 4-yard loss. Ball is at the 40-yard line of Walla Walla. 27 seconds left to go. Center shotgun. 2 backs in the backfield once again, Ongers and Wick. option play, pitches to Wick on the right side, makes a cut up field, stiff arm at the 50. That got him 5 more yards. Down at the 45 of Eastmont. Nice run by Wick.
Good job of running, but also a good job of blocking by the wide receivers here on the near side for Walla Walla. As Derek, for the Blue Devils is out here blocking with Trevor Swanson. He also got a block outside from Dalton Thomas, and that allowed him to get around the corner and get positive yardage into Eastmont territory to the 47. But that's going to do it.
That'll do it here at Wildcat Stadium, and what a second game for Eastmont as they come away with a big victory. A final score here, Eastmont 34 and Walla Walla nothing. Our NCAA Life post-game show begins in 2 minutes. Keep it right here. Grant Olson and Eric Granstrom back at Wildcat Stadium as we kick off our post-game show here on the NCAA Life channel as the Eastmont Wildcats improve to 1-1 on this young season with a pretty convincing 34-0 win over Walla Walla out of the Mid-Columbia Conference, Eric. And Walla Walla now, they've gone 8 quarters without scoring a touchdown. That's tough on a coach and tough on players' confidence, isn't it?
And that makes that 5-hour bus ride seem even farther because now you start looking at each other, a little doubt in your eye and thinking, okay, what happened to our whole off-season workout? What happened to camp? What happened to everything we've been working on here? I thought we were better than this to not score in 8 quarters. Are you kidding me?
And it was a struggle this second half on offense for Walla Walla. This is how their possessions went. A punt, an interception, a punt, another interception, a safety, and then a fumble. That's how the offense went for Walla Walla in the second half. So that's a tough go.
Absolutely. For Eastmont here, let's take a look at the stats. On the ground, leading the way was Devin Schneider. He only carried the ball 4 times, but he had 80 yards rushing on the ball game for Eastmont with a touchdown. Meanwhile, Massey on the ground, 17 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Eastmont Wildcats. Talley finished with 3 carries, 8 yards. Lopez, 3 for 15. Eberhardt, 2 carries, 19 yards, and a touchdown for the sophomore. Knighton also got into the scoring column here today. 5 carries and 10 yards and a touchdown for him. Warren with a couple of carries and 6 yards. So 250 yards on the ground unofficially offensively for Eastmont here today. 200 yards on the ground. 250 yards total as they get 50 through the air. Massey was 6 of 13 for 50 yards. And a lot of that going to Wilson receiving-wise. He had 3 receptions for 38 yards in the ball game. But again, unofficially, Massey 6 of 13 for 50 yards. Efficient, not over the top, but when you're running the ball that well and scoring on the ground, you don't really need to do much through the air.
And Eric, they were given some pretty great field position throughout this game. Eastmont's 2 scoring drives in the second half, 4 plays, 20 yards, and 2 plays, 19 yards. And that's a good recipe for winning a football game.
Absolutely, and you give credit to the defense and what the defense was able to do here. They held Walla Walla to 121 yards on the ground, 2 yards through the air.
Wow.
123 yards of total offense for the Blue Devils here today as Zenner had 11 carries for 41 yards to lead them. Ongers finished with 15 carries and 25. Thomas 4 for 8. Wick 9 for 37, and it took him until the fourth quarter, I think, to get positive yardage. Swant with 2 carries for 6 yards. Zenner 0 for 3 through the air. Swant was 2 of 3 for 2 yards and an interception in this one, as it was Eastmont defense emphatically positioning themselves and saying, hey, we are to be reckoned with here today. And that starts up front with the play of Christian Tonga and the linebacking crew of Jaron Schneider and Brett Womack. Womack and Tonga, fantastic here today.
Yeah, I thought Valadinos did a great job on both sides of the ball as well. He pretty much controlled his position, and just an outstanding team effort by these Wildcats. Still a little bit shaky in the special teams part of the game, but still, this is a great win, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for Eastmont Wildcat Football on the NCW Life channel. This broadcast has been presented by Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge, Town Nissan, Collins Fashions, and the Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Bringing local sports to you, we are the NCW Life channel. Thanks for watching.